Geezers.
Welcome,
The stream, so I'll look in a minute.
welcome everybody to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Agent Boomer. This is my co-host, Troy Pacelli. It's my other
Hello, hello.
co-host, Netter of Net. Oh, yeah, hello, yes, and my other co-host, Netter of Netters Network, who I sometimes
Good
call the
name.
Geezette, as long as
The
that's not
Geezette.
offensive. As long as that's not a triggering word, I don't
It's
know
funny
what it
because Netter thought that was cute, and
Yes.
a couple people in the chat were like, "That doesn't seem very nice." It's like I don't think anyone here has had a problem with it.
It's like Smurfette.
Yes, exactly.
I like
I'm a
Smurfette.
Geezette.
Who was also a blonde, by the way. Just saying.
Let me tell you something. That what is it? The one woman in town. They only had one woman in the town. That must have made things chaotic, right?
Yeah. Like every Smurf wanted her. Well, maybe except Vanity.
Remember once a year, Papa Smurf makes the Smurf candy. Remember that episode? He makes the Smurf candy. They all get a little bit of Smurf candy, and they enjoy it. But Smurfette is like, I want more. And I don't know if she makes a wish on a falling star and says, I want the ability to turn anything into Smurf candy. And then she could turn the table into Smurf candy. But then she starts turning other Smurfs into Smurf candy. It's like the Midas touch. It is this horrible thing. And,
That's horrific.
That was an episode. I do recall that. See, this is my 80s cred. In case anybody questions me that if I grew up in the 80s, I remember that. Lynn Green says, I just finished last call 5 minutes ago. Oh, you mean Troy's last call?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was dropping the comments, and I was responding back to her really quick.
I thought she was actually at a bar tonight and just. Okay.
Well,
that's what you mean by that. I mean,
oftentimes, yeah, exactly. That's the idea behind it. I don't know. I had imagined starting my streams on Fridays at 9 to be like late. But really, if we're ending by like 11:30, that doesn't seem very last call-ish, right? Because bars around here close up around 2 in the morning. So maybe I would have to start last call at like midnight. I'm not planning to do that, by the way, guys. I'm just saying.
Have a great show, my Geezer Commandos. Hello, everyone, and hoping you all have a great week. Thank you, Big Al.
Yes, absolutely.
And get Netter's comments in there. Always nice to see her in the chat. You too, Troy.
Netter spreading the love. Yes, thank you. I love you too, dear.
D Pensec.
Gotta love my family.
D Pensec, welcome. Connie Cleary, welcome. Deleted Scenes, welcome.
G you might have missed.
ussarn G, welcome. We're going to be on Deleted Scenes on Tuesday. It's going to be a live watch at the Dumb Show, right?
Dumbland.
Dumbland. I'm very curious. Is that like the neighboring nation of Idiocracy? I'm just saying.
Yes, but in like stick figure-ish animation.
Tree Rock Creations, welcome. And someone dropped some money. Hold on.
We're getting there. It's all going to Netter. They know that she has to put up with my BS.
Thank you for the unscripted.
That's why they support her.
Raid, everybody, and Zootopia, welcome. And there we go. FKHC 2005. Let's not dox him by saying his name unless we're allowed to.
No. He's made it known. I think by this time everyone knows FKHC 2005 is Tim.
I always think of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the sorcerer, and they ask, "What is your name?" Some people call me Tim.
Yep, that's where it comes from. Yeah, exactly.
Daniel Sports Highlights, welcome. Always good to see you here. You may be interested in tuning in on the Tuesday stream this week as well. I know you're a Lynch fan.
Absolutely.
Let's see what's going on. So, I am the 13th child.
I am the 13th child. Guest last Thursday. He'll be a guest again in October. This time with a functioning sound system.
He'll be a guest. Not Thursday, but next Thursday to make up for the technical difficulties we had.
Okay, I misunderstood.
He's promised a new short story that he wrote, so
cool.
Looking forward to it. Let's make sure the audio works this time, and that'll work out really, really good.
Daniel's Hot Topic sounds like a mall store, but that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that. That was a store I actually very much enjoyed.
Oh, right. And then there was, of course, Spencer's Gifts. I remember those where they would have the dirty stuff in the back, like the...
Yeah. That's Wolfen. Welcome. Good to see you.
You'll be interested. You'll want to tune in next month. There might be some werewolf material.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to start cranking up the spooky content over the next month or so.
Figure we've not done werewolves. It's time for werewolves. Yes.
Ooh, Werewolves of London.
I like that music video.
At least Chicago.
I'm sure there are werewolves in Chicago too.
Well, yeah.
No, we only got zombies.
Funny.
The problem with having werewolves in we do have zombies too. The problem with werewolves in Chicago is they don't really elevate the danger level of going into the city. It's still pretty much status quo.
They stay out of the city. That's like, this is too much.
They're smart.
A nice town.
Right.
Hey, so is there beef chow mein in Chicago? Because that's what the werewolf wanted.
There is beef chow mein. And good tailors too.
Okay, great. You need those good tailors to fix up your shredded shirts when you wake up next morning, right?
That's absolutely right. I'm just trying to figure out how Dr. Banner managed his wardrobe.
Yeah, he was going to Goodwill a lot, probably, right?
Yeah, I would imagine so.
There's no point. They have zombies in San Francisco. That's one word for what they have in San Francisco. Welcome to Geek Flag. All right, so go ahead and bring up the presentation if you would.
You know, according to I Am the 13th Child, you all are my boys.
Yes, we are. Wow. We absolutely are.
You're my crew.
Well,
absolutely. The only werewolves in Chicago are the Glasswalkers. Vampire the Masquerade joke. Yes, I have that source book. Got very much into it back in the mid-90s. But the real world Vampire Underground in Chicago is some really weird people. So the less said about them, the better.
So, do you know what yesterday was?
I believe All My Troubles Seem So Far Away.
It was.
But now I need a place to hide away.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It was a 40th anniversary of the release of, drumroll please, Super Mario Brothers.
There we go. Oh, okay. Well, we got some Mario news tonight.
So I thought I would, and we do have some Mario news later, so I thought I would bring up this concoction thingy. This is
me, Mario.
No voice yet. They would introduce that later on. But this is Super Mario All-Stars for the Super NES, for the Super Nintendo. You're probably asking yourself, what is this, right?
Well, I'm not, because I know you've mentioned it before, but I was going to ask, does this predate, like, Mario-related content in cartoons? Because I remember like some Saturday morning cartoons or so.
No, this is after all that.
Okay.
Super Mario All-Stars came out in the fall of 1993. In fact, that's when the Sonic cartoons were starting to become a thing.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog. In fact, you know who played the voice? The actor who played Urkel on Family Matters did the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog on the old cartoons, actually.
I did not know that.
Yes. But here we have Super Mario All-Stars. This came out fall of 1993. This was during the 16-bit war between Sega and Nintendo. Things were heating up. This was one of Nintendo's big release that fall. And it's odd that their big release that fall was actually a re-release. So
yeah, it was. It's looking like Super Mario Brothers, Mario 2, Mario 3, and I can't read what that last one is.
Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels. Now let me explain. And actually, this will go into. So we have this game, Super Mario Brothers, came out on the NES, September 13th, 1985, in Japan. Hence the 40th anniversary. Didn't make it to North America, I think, until later that year, or perhaps even early '86. I'm not positive. Those are the graphics. To be fair, I think these graphics hold up rather well even today. But when you buy your new 16-bit console, you don't want to be playing old NES games. That's not what I bought a Super Nintendo for. I didn't spend however much it cost. Was it $149.99 or probably $199.99? I'd be saving my piddly little allowance for months to get a Super Nintendo, not to play the same old 8-bit games. I wanted 16-bit games, and I found out, well, you're releasing the old Mario games. Big deal. That's what I said. Yes, go ahead.
You literally have only 6 colors showing on that screen.
It could do more than that, I think.
I think
there were limitations.
You start taking away from other elements. So it's not black and white. It's good enough. You know, I probably would have been happy with it.
I did not know this at the time. Supposedly, the NES games were color-coded in such a way as if you were to hook them up to a black and white TV, you could still play them fine.
I would imagine so.
There was like a grayscale mode in every game. I didn't know this. And I've always toyed, why don't they release like a collection and let you turn it on black and white so we can see what they look like in black and white. But moving on, later on came out Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels. You're probably saying, what the heck is this? We don't know because it only came out in Japan. We didn't know because it only came out in Japan because this was Japan's Super Mario Brothers 2. Graphically looking, it's a lot like Super Mario Brothers, except it's a kind of a mean version of Super Mario Brothers, a lot harder. That is a poison mushroom. Like if you hit the block and a mushroom pops out, your knee-jerk reaction is to get it. You touch that, you either lose your power or you die. It's a poison mushroom.
Wow.
This was considered. What do they call these now? Like these hellish style platformers that are miserable that people still make today. This was considered the first one of those that ever came out. We didn't get it here in North America because they figured we wouldn't like it over here. Why don't video companies do remakes of games, not remasters? Just like Hollywood remakes movies, remakes games, they can fix things that are wrong with the story and have superior graphics.
Honestly, I agree with this. There is, thank you so much, RubyHoove. Super appreciate you. She says,
Angelus to the community.
Gifted a membership to Angelus. I've pronounced it different ways all the time. Thank you so much, RubyHoove.
Angelus, that sounds right.
I hope you and your family are doing well. I super appreciate you. And in case you didn't hear it the other day, Netter was saying thank you for joining her channel. She was so encouraged and couldn't think of a way to express herself to you. So thank you for encouraging my wife. So Nate says remakes of games and improve and fix them. There are so many games that I used to love that I used to be annoyed as all hell because of little glitches, little problems that were usually a shortcoming of
the
memory
hardware
allocation or something like that. Yeah. And there were some Atari 2600 games that would just flash to the point where I thought I was going to go into a seizure. And the game was otherwise great, but the playability was so low because you could barely see what was happening. And it was because it was really taxing the game's ability to render those graphics. Now you could do the exact same thing on a super cheap, very low memory machine, and it would have zero problems at all. You know?
Do you know who does that sort of thing now? The fans.
They do.
Because I've read articles, and I'm not going to tell you, well, you guys do what you want in your spare time, but I'm just saying that there are people that have been going out there and they've been remaking classic NES games using Super Nintendo hardware, which is bizarre to me, but they do look like the old NES games. They don't look like 16 games, but they play flawlessly. They have bells and whistles and tweaks, and you can select from a menu if you want different music and all sorts of things. And I think theoretically, if you had like one of those EverDrive cartridges and put the file on it and stuck it in a Super Nintendo, you could play Ninja Gaiden 2 or Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! I think is the newest one they're working on. So they're different things. So there are people out there in the community doing it, but it's I would like we say the fans do the best stuff.
I saw an interesting video the other day on Donkey Kong, and it was talking about how high can you go?
Yeah.
And apparently there is a limit because of the counter and the way the counter works. And there are certain, I don't want to call them cheats, but there are exploits that are used by speedrunners that allow you to get past what they thought was the highest level, right? Because the counter would run down within like 3 seconds. And you can end the thing in 3 seconds if you can climb to the top directly, and there's an exploit to do that. And then you can go a few more screens, and then you really do run into, well, I don't know why someone would want to do this, but you could take that game and remove that restriction. And it would also, you could also in that way end up removing some of those exploits too, because some of those exploits were based on the bit limitation, and it's why the top and the bottom and the left and the right meet because of the way the coding works, and you could remove that so that couldn't happen. It would change the experience, though. So, but I'm just saying, these are options we have available to us. We don't always need the best, most beautiful 3D super, super surround experience. Sometimes these simple old side scrollers are just fine.
Keep in mind, though, that like I said, teenage boomer in the early in 1993 didn't want 8-bit games. He wanted 16-bit games, though.
Well, sure, but it would cost them nothing to take these old games, put them into new cartridges, resell them. And
Atari's doing that. Atari's
Atari
actually doing that. Yes.
Yeah.
They're like that Pac-Man game coming out, and that comes with the original 2600 Pac-Man that you know well, but it also comes with a version that was made by the fan community that's made for the 7800, and it looks great. I've seen demos of it. And that's the thing about the Atari community. You've had people in that community redoing a lot of these older games and making them better. And you can, of course, download the ROMs and whatnot and play them on, I guess, emulators, or if you have original hardware, there's probably a way to do it on there as well. So, there are options out
Tree
there.
Rock, this was exactly what I was talking about. That explains the flashing in the Atari 2600 Haunted House game. I guess it was hard to render 2 eyeballs. That, you're not wrong. But you'll notice, and it wasn't just in the Haunted House, it was also in Adventure and other games. When did you see it? It was when there was more than one animated character on the screen at the same time. The more sprites there were, the more memory it ate up, and the more difficult it was to animate. So if you and a dragon and the bat and a flashing sword were all on the screen at the same time, the screen went apeshit, and it would just be blinky, 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 blinky. Which also resulted in the walls, the single line walls on either side of the corridor blinking in and out, which allowed you to pass through them to a secret area.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm. That's one of those exploits I was talking about.
That was Resident Evil before we had Resident Evil.
Yeah, there you go.
No need to buy consoles anymore. They are too expensive and need to download patches to the game. Well, the patches, that's been around forever.
What a lot of people are doing now, and this is why PC is the way, is if you want, there are emulators out there, and you can just download the emulator for Atari 2600, Super Nintendo, whatever, and somebody out there has the raw materials to play those games in those emulators.
That's what your comparisons regarding Switch to hilarious. My main contention is there isn't an experiential update between it and the Switch. Here is what I've heard regarding Switch to hardware, is that it's on the level of an Xbox Series S. That's the digital console, which is not the Series X. People think they're I used to think, me. I used to think they were the same thing. What was the digital console? No, they're actually 2 different Xbox next-gen consoles. So is it more powerful than the Switch? Yes, because the Switch was basically, it was under the Xbox One and PS4, but it doesn't feel, I'll admit though, for me it doesn't feel like a huge upgrade, but we'll talk about Switch later. Let's go back. This is the actual Super Mario Brothers 2 we got in 1982. Nintendo reskinned a game they had called Doki Doki Panic and stuck Mario characters in it. And this was like the first time probably since Nintendo got into that people started complaining about Nintendo. And people love and hate them in equal measure. And this, I think the complaint was they were expecting something bigger, and this, I don't think this is a bad game, but it's not really a Mario game. It's a game they took and threw Mario characters on. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So move on to Super Mario Brothers 3. This was the big one. And I mean, look at the leap from the original Super Mario Brothers to Super Mario Brothers 3. That's pretty good. The same hardware. Okay. So. But let's move on to All Stars. So what is All Stars? This is what I didn't mean. This is supposed to be a short, good old days. We have a lot of news. Anyway, Super Mario All Stars was 16-bit renditions of all of these games, including the one we never got in the United States, which was which we call over here Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels. In Japan, do you know what they call our game Super Mario Brothers 2? Because their Lost Levels is Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan. You know what they call our Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan?
No, what?
Super Mario USA.
Oh, that makes sense. Sure.
Because they reskinned it for them too. I think these days people hate them more than they like them. Well, unfortunately, I'd like to say that's the truth, but then they're not voting with their wallets. And
Right.
I have my own my reasons for not liking Nintendo's are different than other people's. I'll get into that later. But look at these gorgeous 16-bit graphics, and of course, this is where I have people saying he doesn't run the same as in the originals. Yes, okay, fine. It's not, the timing is not quite the same. I still enjoyed it. This is the original Super Mario Brothers.
It looks like they were going for, it's still the same two-dimensional.
They were trying to make it, all the level layouts are the same. Yes,
but it looks 3D-ish. It's kind of a fake 3D.
Well, it has those multi-scrolling backgrounds in the back that look 3D.
Right.
Yes, and it has that look. It is essentially, though, the same game. That's Super Mario Brothers 2. I do think this is probably one of the best versions of Super Mario Brothers 2 you can play. If you like Super Mario Brothers 2, there's Luigi. And there's Super Mario Brothers 3. You barely see Mario there, because that's how he starts out when he's not super. He gets the mushroom to become Super Mario.
He's a little tiny, and he gets bigger as he eats.
A little tiny. That's how he looked in Donkey Kong. That's sort of the look they're going for. Okay.
Kind of, yeah.
And there's the map. And the point is that this was a weird thing that Nintendo did. They re-released their old games, completely rebuilt them from scratch while trying to maintain the thing that people loved about them. They rebuilt them from scratch, gave them 16-bit graphics, put 4 of them on a cartridge, and charged $49.99 for it. I know what prices were back in the 90s. Nintendo released games were always $50, third-party games were $60. That's how it worked. I got it when I came out, enjoyed it very much, and I mean, look at those graphics. I think that holds up pretty well today. Look at that. See?
Yeah, and those are the kind of graphics that you would expect on. What was that handheld game?
The Game Boy Advance?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because these games, a lot of these versions of these games, some of them got ported to the Game Boy Advance. They were given more bells and whistles. For instance, Mario would talk in the Game Boy Advance versions and say, he'd do the "It's a me, Mario," and he'd say, "Just what I needed." And he would talk during the game. A lot of gamers found the fact that he started to talk in the gameplay annoying. I found it kind of charming. And I always thought it would annoy people around me too, so I was fine with it.
I can kind of see it both ways, because it would be charming to start out with, but then when he's saying the same phrases over and over and over, maybe
just what I needed, like
Ryan would be proud of your actions.
Well, that was actually a lot of fun. I like that one. Go for the eyes, boo! Go for the eyes!
Like, there's the Game Boy Advance version of Super Mario Brothers 3. Now, to be fair, these weren't straight ports. They did maintain the look of the Super Nintendo games, but they even added levels to them and stuff. Of course, they were charging you $30 for them, so... so...
Yeah.
That's the way Nintendo charged you $50 for 4, and now they're charging you $30 for 1. That's how they roll. Their pricing is not always consistent. I miss old school games. I prefer them. I get you deleted scenes.
That was Super Mario 3, the furry years.
Don't get started. Especially what's been in the news about.
Well, this tells you all you need to know about furries, folks.
Yeah, watch Snarky J's video on that too. She'll give you some.
Oh,
pointers.
really? I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
the one about My Little Pony. She did. I don't know if you caught.
Oh, yes.
Whoever you said you got it when you came. Funny man.
Wait a minute. There was a comment back here that I wanted to grab from
This is the trouble with live broadcasting.
That's what the mods are for, to fix all the crap the studios put out. Yes, you're absolutely right. And some studios are more notorious for that than others, and that's why the only way EA games is even able to be played is because of modders out there fixing crap.
Nintendo's pretty good though with their stuff. Like I said, their stuff they won't even patch the new stuff, but usually the stuff that it comes out of the box pretty well made. Maybe not their latest stuff though, but years later, this was in the year 2020. This was when around the time I had started this stream. I didn't have a Switch yet, but I was getting one that holiday season and during a Black Friday sale, and they were releasing Super Mario 3D All Stars, and I thought this is brilliant because you have the 2D Mario game classics, and then they moved into 3D Mario games, and there have been enough of them that they could do a collection. Great. So there have been 4 great 3D Mario games. There's been Super Mario 64. That's the first one on the Nintendo 64. There's Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube, which was sort of the black sheep of the series, kind of like Super Mario Brothers 2. Then you had Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. What do you notice about this? How many games are there? You count 4 or 3?
It looks like 3 to me.
Yeah, they're 3. They didn't put Super Mario Galaxy 2. And you know what I said? I'd love to play Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 in a collection and play them on an HD set on my Switch and not the Wii, because I hate the Wii. I hate the Wii, but I love Super Mario Galaxy, and I want to play Super Mario Galaxy games on a system that's not the Wii. But they only put the first one on here, so you know what I said to Nintendo? I'm not buying it. Because I said I would have rather you brought out a Super Mario Galaxy collection with just those 2 games and just forgot about the other 2 than put one in this collection and not Galaxy 2. And until Nintendo, you are to release a Super Mario Galaxy collection, count me out. News on that later. Okay, that's my segue for tonight. That's why I brought this whole thing up.
Okay.
Get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Until Nintendo releases a Super Mario Galaxy collection, they can kiss my grits, if you know what I'm saying.
I do, which
maybe
is
I will
that
have
a segue?
some news later on that. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Geeky Geezers. Okay, moving on to Holly Holiday.
Speaking of kiss my grits, that's what I thought you were pivoting for.
Did she say that on here? Is
yes,
that what made her famous? Well, I
that
think
was
that
was her catchfresh.
That was her catchphrase. Yeah, you didn't even realize, did you? You didn't even realize. Yeah.
Holly Holiday, actress known for playing Flo on Alice, Alice and Marva in The Parent Trap, dies at age 88. We are definitely losing the greats here. Polly Holiday died on September 9th at age 88. She was best known for the leading role as Flo on the 1970 sitcom Alice. The actress was also known for roles in The Parent Trap, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Gremlins. Was she the evil Mrs. Mrs. Beagle in Gremlins?
She was the one that gets shot out the window, yes, in Gremlins.
Well, I compare it to like the evil woman from Wizard of Oz, right? The one who was always going after.
Yeah, Elmira Gulch, exactly.
Yeah, that reminded me. She reminded me of like a modern Elmira Gulch.
Yes, I get that. Yeah,
and I think that was on purpose, right? It was probably So the actress died Tuesday, September 9th in Manhattan after several years of health issues. Her agent and longtime friend Dennis Asplan confirmed to the New York Times her death is thought to be a result of pneumonia. People has reached out to Asplan for comment. Holiday first rose to fame with her Emmy-nominated role on the sitcom Alice, in which she played Flo from 1976 until 1980. She made a name for the breakout character through her famous catchphrase, "Kiss my grits." And continued to play Flo in a short-lived spin-off series the following year. Other big roles for Holiday include parts in Gremlins, The Parent Trap, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Golden Girls, and Home Improvement, among many others.
Mm-hmm.
Her Holiday was born in Jasper, Alabama in 1937. Her mother was a housewife and her father was a trucker, and she would spend her summer vacations riding in the truck with him. Those summer memories end up inspiring Flo. She told People in 1980, "We'd eat at truck stops, and there would always be a waitress like Flo with a joke ready," she said. The men would all say kinds of risque things to her, but it was understood that it wasn't serious, just a way to make everybody's day happier. Yes, because people were adults back then, and they could
Yeah.
take a joke. Yeah. I decided I wouldn't dye my hair for the tryout, she said in 1980. And I just pushed my normal Alabama accent up a bit. One of the producers actually fell off his chair laughing. The series starred Linda Levine as the title character, but Holiday's flows based on Diane Ladd's character from the movie Alice, which was was the bigger breakout. Okay, well that's how like people tune in to certain shows, like Seinfeld. People might tune into for Kramer, or Charles in Charge for what was the character next door, Buddy. You know, you turn into the more comical character, even though that wasn't the main character on the show.
I mean,
right?
look at Urkel. It became all about
yeah,
him,
exactly.
you know?
Urkel's the same way. Yes, on Family Matters, every show had the comic relief character, like the weird funny neighbor or something. Right? Every show had one. That was a thing back then. And I guess for Alice, it was Flo.
Yep.
2 years after leaving Alice, Holiday joined the cast of CBS's Private Benjamin. When star Ellen Brennan was injured in a car accident, I was assured I'd come on as a guest star, not as Eileen's replacement. She told People at the time, "I hated to get the job at the expense of someone's misfortune, but a lot of other people's jobs were at stake. I didn't want to see the show fold." That's understandable.
Exactly.
And she played Major Amanda Lee Allen, a gung-ho Army a woman in the military with the military in her blood. She figured she was hired because they know I'd come in and get it together quickly. Okay. So yeah, and Holiday also appeared on Golden Girls in 1960. Lily, the blind sister, Betty White's Rose. She had a recurring role in Home Improvement and was part of the main cast of The Client. Okay. Rest in peace. You a big fan of the show Alice though back in the day?
I really did like this show, and it was one of those things that I was a little young. It wasn't, not that I was too young to be watching it. There was nothing wrong with the show. It just didn't seem like the kind of thing that would appeal to a kid my age. But I did enjoy it. It was on all the time. Did not know anything about the movie until many, many years later.
Her character Flo also had a short-lived spin-off. Isn't that how it works? You take the funny character, but then you give them your spin-off, and then they're not the side character anymore, and it doesn't last.
Right.
Haven't they tried that before? They tried that with the Ropers, didn't they?
Yes,
they did. Did that
not
last? And it was just a thing.
Well, and here's... I think that people keep making they keep learning the wrong lessons. It's the same thing, the whole adage of the will they, won't they, as soon as they do, they ruin it. And it's like, no, that's not what ruins it. What ruins it is not understanding how to develop characters, right? What happens is when you have, for example, a will they or won't they kind of storyline, and then you go, okay, they do, and then the writers don't know how to develop the relationship from there. People lose interest. People want to see it develop into something new. And we have had plenty of relationship stories with married couples and all kinds of things. You need to be a better writer is what it comes down to. And it's the same thing with this. You mentioned the Ropers. Why did the Ropers work? The Ropers work because they had the kids to play off of. When you break that dynamic, who do they have to play off of? You've got to think that through, you know?
Lynn Green says, "I worked at a truck stop dimer for my first job. Kiss my grits was often said here." Said there. And yeah, I do see what you're saying though about you need the base characters. It's an ensemble. That's what it means by ensemble.
Exactly.
You want the whole package.
Exactly.
I know I've seen Slice only in rerun. I don't know what that is. Slice? Alice. Sorry.
Alice.
Okay. The computer probably auto-corrected you, and that's what happened.
I mean, technically, I don't remember if I saw it during... I mean, I was watching TV during its initial run, but most of the episodes I caught, yes, were in reruns during daytime television in the summers, when they would just be playing like a whole bunch of them one after the other, and I'd be like, okay, it's something to watch, I guess, you know.
Early to bed, early to rise, early to bed, and in between, I cook and clean and go out of my head. Is that the theme song?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Need to rewatch it. Apparently, Alice crossed over with Magnum PI, Dukes of Hazzard, etc. That's interesting.
I did not know that. I did not realize that.
All right,
that is very interesting.
Moving on to the dismal modern day, and we do have to talk about some things.
Yeah, we do.
I feel like going on a mini rant here.
Go for it. It's your show.
I know Zaslav has a lot on his plate. Clean up DC. I've been wanting them to clean up DC for years, and they don't do it. And apparently, Superman and these DC characters, they're big movie moneymakers. Well, the comic books are just... Let's read the article. Look at this. DC immediately cancels new Red Hood series after writer publicly mocks fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk. It looks like it's back to the grave for Jason Todd. Oh, yes, of course. As thanks to writer Gretchen Felker Martin meeting the news of Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk's recent shooting with mockery. Yes, of course this writer did. DC has canceled their new Red Hood series after just one issue. While the situation is still unfolding, what's currently known about the recent attempt on the political pundit's life is that at 12:20 on September 10th, while speaking on the Utah Valley University campus in the first stop of the American combat, Kirk was suddenly hit in the neck from a distance by a single bullet fired by, at the time of this article, is as of yet unidentified shooter. They caught the person responsible. Immediately, okay, let's not get it. I'm not going to get into the details of that anymore. Of that, but here we go. Moving down to. Okay, however, it was in the short window between Kirk's shooting and the confirmation of his death that Felker Martin would torpedo the one-time Robin solo career before it could even get off the ground. Taking to her personal Blue Sky account within the hour, the Red Hood Volume 2 writer responded to the news with the firm declaration, thoughts and prayers I'm going to say Yahtzee.
Yeah, you don't have to quote it. You don't have to quote it.
Okay, yes. Hope... Okay, I added other vile things. I'm not going to bring those up on air. You can read the article. There should be a link below. Though Felker Martin's messages were quickly deleted thanks to her account being handed an official suspension, the damage to her mainstream comic book career was already done, as later that evening comic book stores received a message from DC informing them that not only was Red Hood Volume 2 canceled the same day as its first issue hit the shelves, no less, but they would be offering full refunds via credit for not just the remaining stock, but that which had already been sold. As shared to the public by Pop vs. Graham McMillan, DC Comics cancels existing orders in Red Hood number 2 and Red Hood number 3 and any orders future issue of the series. So I'm assuming this person's contract has been canceled, because I heard that's how they do things over there. Pressed by McMillan as to the specific reasons of book cancellation, the publisher declined to either provide specifics or name Felker Martin, instead pinning the blame on apparent issue regarding DC's social media policy. At DC Comics, we place the highest value on our creators and community and affirm the right to peaceful individual expression of personal viewpoints. Posts of public comments that can be viewed as promoting hostility or violence are inconsistent with DC standards of conduct. As a publication, neither Felker Martin, who notably considered a point of pride that they purposely avoided reading any previous Jason Todd stories before taking on this. Why was this person hired? Okay. Why was this person hired? Were they working for no money and they could spew their political BS in the comic? And that's why I don't understand this.
No, you do. You do. You understand.
I do know it, but I don't know why it's still going on. It's 2025.
Well, this is the change. This is, I hate to say it, but this is the phrase people are using now.
BS.
This is the turning point. This is the point where people realize, oh my gosh, this needs to change. Even the most lefty people are starting to go, this cannot stand. We cannot continue as a society in this way. And if you think about it, you will understand. People that are saying such vile things that that are saying that people deserve to die if they espouse an opinion that differs from theirs, then just keep in mind that you are putting out an opinion that is not popular. Okay? So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You're saying that it's open game on you, right? Is that what you're saying? So let's be very clear about this. Companies do not want to be a part of that. That is a bridge too far. And they are realizing they've let this go way too far. So then you have people on social media coming out and saying, well, this isn't right. This is an infringement on free speech. You have zero expectation of free speech when you represent a private company.
Yes. I, as someone who works for a library, have to be careful what I say in public.
Exactly. That company has a right to fire you for making them look bad. And this literally rises to the level of potentially illegal, right? This raises to the level of inciting violence, and a company cannot be a part of that. They will be sued for that.
Conduct unbecoming.
So that is why you are gone, right?
I saw the writer double down today, spewed more hate. To say the least, I'm not a fan. Yeah, I'm not even.
Well, it doesn't matter now because she is no longer bound by a company. Yes, she absolutely can say he, whatever. Okay,
this person's insane. Let's be honest here. That's probably what's going on here. But let's give them a high-profile title.
The other thing that people are saying is, well, this person wasn't actually fired because they canceled her title. You're splitting hairs, okay? They ended the entire comic project. She is no longer working for them. Effectively, she is fired by any other name. She is no longer employed by and being paid by DC Comics. That's fired. Because you could say the same thing about Gina Carano. Technically, she wasn't fired by Lucasfilm because they decided not to go ahead with the project. Okay? However you want to put it, they've decided not to work with this person anymore. And yes, I know this was someone who started out as a male, is now going by female. I will go back and forth between he and she because you know what? I can. It's my words and I can say whatever I want, however I want. I simply will not refer to a singular person as they.
Right.
Because they are not more than one person.
Samuel Procter, Beyond the Border, Free Speech. Oh, sorry, Netter?
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. She was just telling me to calm down.
Beyond the border of free speech is inciting violence after innocent people are being killed. Well, no, I'll actually give Troy credit. He had a very calming show the day after this horrible tragedy. Well, I don't want to keep calling tragedies. I feel are things that happen by accident. This was not an accident, but this horrible event
heinous
that happened
crime.
this week.
Yeah.
And I was thinking too after this incident and thinking this week, and I actually, for whatever reason, I put on that movie Batman Under the Red Hood. I think you might have watched that at one point. That's the one with Jason Todd. For Match 6 Channel. And I remember thinking, I miss this Batman. I miss having Batman, and I feel like Batman's been missing for a while. And I think I need
because
him
no
back
one
in the
knows how to
popular
write
culture.
Batman.
Because the whole point of that thing is you have Red Hood, he's vengeance, he's killing people left and right to make Gotham. He's saying, why don't you take out the bad guys? Why? And he's doing this, and Batman's like, you just don't get it. And I kind of miss the fact we need to maybe get back to heroes that don't like killing. Like even James Bond in those original stories when I'm reading them, he actually doesn't like killing. Did you know that? I don't know if it comes off the movies as much.
I was just watching a video the other day about the first about First Blood.
Yeah.
And how they very much changed the character from the way he's written in the book to what appears in the movie. And in the movie, he goes out of his way not to kill people. The first person that gets killed was completely an accident. Yeah. It was not intentional. He even tries to give himself up so no one else would get hurt. But they kind of didn't let him. So, okay, that's when he starts setting all the booby traps, which were intended to be non-lethal. They were intended to be maiming and hurting, but not lethal.
Yeah, exactly. And well, that's the thing. He was just trying to prove a point, and I remember the point in the movie in the beginning when the guy falls out and dies. It falls out of the copter, and he's like, "I didn't do anything." Remember? And he's like,
Yeah.
and even his traps, especially the ones with the blades on them, they didn't kill people. You know,
Right.
they
Well,
incapacitated.
the one with the spikes, they nail the guy in the legs. They're going to hobble you. Very unlikely it's going to kill you.
No, you'll have to go to the
And
hospital.
again, it's also, you're coming after me. You didn't have to step into that booby.
He said he drew first blood, not me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get something to eat, and I was going to be on my way. I was going to stop at the diner to grab a bite and move on, get on my way.
Right.
And which was his right as a free American, so he was being harassed for no good reason.
But back to Jason Todd, I just do want to point out that this article even says something about, Jason Todd going back to the grave, and it's like, that's where he should have stayed. When you have a project where you ask the fans to vote whether he lives or dies, and they say, no, we don't like this character, just let him die. Why bring him back?
Well, here's the weird thing. Apparently from what I'd read, because I was reading up on the original Red Hood story when it came out, because they were doing the animated movie based on it, and in the comics he actually didn't come back. I think it was alluded to that he was, but I don't know if it was Clayface or somebody else pretending to be. It was some other thing going on, and it wasn't actually Jason Todd doing things. Jason Todd was dead. So they actually kept in the comics. I'm okay with this standalone movie playing fast and loose because it's a standalone movie that's not tied to anything. Yes, but
yeah. And I in the comics they played real fast and loose with Cannon, like he had survived or something,
right,
and kept alive or something. And it's like, this is just stupid. It's just, how many Robins are they going to have? Especially when they took and they decided to condense Batman's history down. What, he had like 5 Robins in as many years?
A ridiculous amount of Robins now. Well, we'll find out what's going on with how many Robins he's had in this Gunverse. As I keep waiting to see what they're going to do with Batman. No, it was Jason Todd. Superboy punched so hard that it really reality changed.
Yeah.
Bring back Jason Todd. Are you kidding me? That's how they did.
No. The problem was after Crisis on Infinite Earths, there was still some straggly threads. And look, anybody who knows tapestry and sewing and stuff, you sew a seam, right? And if there's straggling edges, you take a lighter and you run it along to scorch them and leave them the F alone. You start pulling at those threads, the whole thing unravels. Well, that's what DC Comics ended up doing after Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I don't know.
They need a clean house over there, and you need to start with the editors, because the editors are the ones doing the hiring.
Mm-hmm.
And we had someone else get fired over
this
Kirk
one actually was equally shocking to me. Another example of a company that you can blame them. They shouldn't have hired these people in the first place. They've let it go too long. You could beat up on them, and beat up on them. But damn it, at some point, you've got to say, what is it you want from these companies? When they finally do something right, you need to give them an attaboy. Okay? You gotta have, for whatever negatives you're going to say, you got to give them praise when they do something right. Because otherwise, what outcome do you want?
No, I concur with that. Yeah. We would be intellectually dishonest if we didn't call out companies we don't like when they do something right.
That's exactly my point. Thank you. Yeah.
Political analyst Matthew Dowd has been fired from MSNBC after his comments about the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, according to a network source. During MSNBC's coverage of Kirk's shooting, anchor Katie Turr asked Dowd about the environment in which a shooting like this happens. Dowd responded with the following about Kirk. He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing the sort of hate speech and sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which lead to hateful actions. And I think that is
a lot of people that are looking at Dowd and saying, well, everything you're saying can be said about you. That you are pushing a certain ideology and dangerous misinformation and painting certain people in a certain way. So you are the one who is actually creating this violent environment. So are you saying it's open game on you too?
It's ridiculous. And I think that this is the environment we are in. You can stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have, and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place. And that's the unfortunate environment we're in. So he's basically saying, oh, your freedom of speech shouldn't be free because you'll cause people to do bad things. Is that what he's saying here?
Because apparently, as a human being, we don't have the ability to separate thoughts and ideas from action.
And
that we are unable to have a discourse, it's going to have to come to violence. And that's the automatic assumed outcome. And as long as we have that opinion, you literally create that environment. You're literally sending a message that this is okay and expected. And I have seen a lot of politicians right now that are realizing that and going, you know what? We need to stop this. Because, now I'm in danger, and everyone I know is in danger as long as we continue to perpetuate this environment.
Yeah, when you start saying words are weapons, and this is this is.
Well, I've seen a lot of people in recent weeks bringing up the sound bites of certain politicians talking about let there be no peace. You know what you need to do. Even what's her name saying put them down like a dog. It's like, really? Ridiculous. Okay. Then when it happens, it's on you. It's demonstrable inciting to violence.
Not that Kirk was inciting people to violence either. I want to make that clear. That's what he's saying. This is
what he's saying. That's not what he actually did. In fact, if you don't take Dowd's word for it, and these other morons claiming what Charlie Kirk said and actually listen to the actual words of Charlie Kirk, you will never find a racist, sexist, or violent statement from him.
Like you cannot agree with his politics, but he's not trying to destroy
Absolutely.
You. That's my point.
Everything people are saying about him, without having actually listened to him, it is a lie. You believe a lie, and you are prepared to take somebody's life believing these lies.
And I do want to give 2 shout outs this week. I didn't have this article ready for tonight, but 2 Hollywood actors actually came out condemning this attack.
Hold up before you say it. Mm-hmm. I've been seeing a lot of statements that were not true. Assertions of what people have said, and they did not actually say it.
Okay, then we'll verify for next week then. All right.
Because I will say, for example, last night during one of the streams, someone mentioned something about something Billy D. Williams had said. He did not say that.
Okay.
As much as it was a positive, good statement that we would like to believe.
He didn't actually say it. Okay.
He didn't actually say it. His daughter came out and said that his what do you call it, had been hacked. And
that can happen.
Here's the other thing, too. I'm seeing a lot of people sharing what appears to be a clip of somebody's X feed or something like that, and something they said, and then you go to their X feed and it just ain't there. Okay. So we gotta do our due diligence, regardless of which side you're on.
Yeah. But yeah, he has been let go. We apologize
Chris
for
Pratt,
his statements.
however, yes, Chris Pratt's statement. He's actually made a couple statements.
It was Chris Pratt and another guy I saw.
Another
guy who surprised me because he's an actor who's on the left, and he said this is not the way to go. That's what he said.
Well, and I do think that a lot of these people are starting to realize that if there's any intelligence in their brains, they're realizing there's a level of intellectual honesty where it's like, God, if I support this and someone tries to do this to me, this is not good, you know?
But MSNBC apologized for his statements. Cutler said in a statement, MSNBC, there's no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. Dowd issued his own apology for his commentary on his Blue Sky account. You know, things got so bad on Blue Sky that the administrators finally stepped in. That just shows you how long the things have been out of control over there.
Yeah.
I apologize for my tone and words. Let me be clear. I in no way intended my comments to blame Kirk for this horrendous attack. Let us all come together and condemn violence of any kind.
That is the most disingenuous thing that I can imagine, because we understand the English language. You used words that meant something, and you can't go back and say they didn't. Or you can't go back and say, I didn't intend that. It doesn't matter because that's what you said. You need to stand by those words, and you are a professional speaking in public, and you're paid to do that. You should understand the words that come out of your mouth before you say them publicly. If you can't do that, you're not doing your job. You need to quit. Well, it doesn't matter. You've been fired.
I'd be curious to see what Richard Dreyfuss thinks of this situation. He had some interesting comments a while back. But, yeah.
Well, yeah, I know.
I've never been on the left or the right ever since I was old enough to vote. I have been an independent, but I can't imagine myself voting for a Democrat now, for even a crossing guard. Well, they need. I don't want to get too political here, but yeah, there needs to be reform. And I will give credit if President Obama and Biden or somebody working with them did.
What is very encouraging to me is
of this violence.
With all the ugliness I'm seeing on social media, I am seeing a lot of people that identify as liberal, especially black liberals and gay liberals, coming out and saying, enough of this. This is wrong. And the Democratic Party does not support me because the Overton window has moved so far left that I've become a righty now. Not that they're any less progressive than they were, not that they have any less classical liberal views than they ever did, but they're not being represented by the party that used to be the progressive liberal party. It's taken them, 40 years to catch up to what Reagan said when he said, I didn't leave the Democratic Party left me.
Right. I remember that. You should definitely check out that Reagan movie. I do recommend it to you.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely on my list.
But moving on to Metroid Prime. Oh, sorry. Are we done with the Kirk stuff?
Yeah,
we're not going to be done with the Kirk stuff. There'll be more.
That's true.
Moving on to perhaps a more pleasant topic. At least Nintendo not annoying me for 1 week, which was good. Not that I don't know. Not that Troy's going to be won over.
I was going to say, depends. What's the price tag? Is it like $150 in your firstborn? I mean,
Funny man. Okay, well, in the case of Metroid Prime 4, the pricing is actually interesting. This is a cross-gen title. The Nintendo Switch edition is going to be $59.99. That's actually
you said cross-gen, right? Not trans-gen. Okay.
Don't get started. There are people from that community that kept saying that Samus was Samus is a woman. That's what she's always been. She wears a suit that's like an Iron Man style suit. That's why you don't see what she looks like. But yeah, she's been out of the suit
wasn't that like the big twist when
yes.
She takes her helmet off and you find out she's a woman?
On the NES, all the gamers were shocked. It's like I've been playing
and
as a girl this whole time.
And in fact, she takes off her armor and she's like in a bikini or something like that. But it was like so low resolution. It's like, okay, get your thrills, I guess.
now she dons what they call the Zero suit. It's like a space spandex garb that's blue. So that's like a new thing. Well, she looks good in it too. But yeah, they. In fact, I often thought it's weird they had Anya Taylor-Joy playing Princess Peach because I thought she could probably play Samus Aran if they did a live-action Metroid movie. But here we have Metroid, though, and Metroid Prime 4, we're going to have to wait too long for it. Nintendo had a Direct this week. They surprised... You want to wait too long for Metroid Prime 4? Nintendo surprised us soon after Kirby's Air Riders Direct with another Direct showcase today, clocking it at a luxurious 60 minutes. The Direct covered a bunch of games and movies coming out later quarter of the year and beyond. Biggest news, one of the biggest pieces of news was that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which Nintendo announced will launch December 4th. Along with the release date, Nintendo revealed another look at the game. In the teaser, Samus has gone beyond the cramped quarters of a derelict space station and alien-haunted caves to cruise wide-open sand dunes on a brand-new speeder bike that we've never seen before. Yeah, she's donning. It almost reminds me of the Tron Light Cycle in a way.
Kind of.
She's driving around, and that it was so cool and interesting looking that it almost felt like a completely different game. I'm kind of curious about this because Nintendo's very quiet about Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime is one of these series that was very popular in America, but I felt the Japanese side of Nintendo always kind of... They were never big on the Metroid Prime series, but they know it sells over here, so they've been promising a sequel, and we're getting one. But Metroid Prime 4 had the ignominious distinction of being one of the rare first-party Nintendo games to get stuck in development hell. This game was announced way back in 2017. Metroid Prime 4 is so old that when it was announced, Reggie Fils-Aimé was still the boss of Nintendo of America. The original Switch was just 3 months old, and we still had an E3, which is where the game was first announced. Yeah, Reggie Fils-Aimé, you would have liked him. He was a funny guy. They were demonstrating the Wii Fit board to measure weight, and he gets on the board, and the thing on the board said, or whatever on the screen said, "You're overweight, Reggie. You're overweight," and he said, "Muscle was a lot heavier than fat." That's all I want to say.
So CK says, will this be a game where in a few years they no longer support it and my disc won't work anymore? If so, I don't want it. And Metroid is my favorite VG.
Okay, longest running superhero RPG. This game that you buy for your Nintendo Switch, you can
He's got a simp for his Switch. He's got a simp.
I like the Switch. It's been one of my favorite game consoles. This is coming from someone who didn't buy a Nintendo Switch at launch, was actually very hesitant because I didn't understand this whole portable console hybrid. I bought a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One before I bought a Switch. I finally got a Switch, and I loved it. So it's weird how Nintendo will bring out consoles that everybody else loves, like the Wii, which I hated. And then they bring out the Switch, which I thought I was going to hate, and I actually ended up loving a lot. So they're hit and miss with me, but I did like the Switch. And let me tell you something about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. This is going to come out on a physical cartridge. I believe even the Switch 2 version is going to come out on a physical cartridge. In fact, it's probably going to be the Switch 1 version with a code for the Switch 2 upgrades available. The Switch 2 version is going to be $10 more. So, but if you buy the Switch 1 version, I suspect you could probably still play it on your Switch 2 and buy the upgrade pack for an additional $9.99.
They were talking about Brie Larson playing Samus, which makes me want to digest my own head. Well, how long ago was that, though?
That was a rumor. That was a little scary because Nintendo had her doing promo videos for games at one point. Did you know that?
Look.
It was like, sit down with Bree playing Animal Crossing. I was like, really?
Let's be
honest. Is during the pandemic. And part of me thought they did that to actually get the SJWs off their back. If they hired Bree, they would leave them alone.
Let's be honest. If you go back to the beginning of Brie Larson's career, she had a great deal of potential. She was, until you got to know her, till she opened up her mouth, a very attractive woman, right? But then she just literally blew up her own PR, and I'm sorry. There are some people that the more you get to know them, the more attractive they seem as you get to know them, and there are others that are the exact opposite. And Brie Larson is one of those that could be very attractive until she starts talking, and you get to know who she is, and she gets less and less and less attractive.
Can't wait for Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime is better than .com for me. Thank you, Daniel. Boomer, just admit you're something, Geek Flag. I'm not even going to respond to that. Here's the deal.
That's how it's coming off to me too. I don't think
maybe a GameCube, bitch. Maybe because I love the GameCube. That was my favorite Nintendo console. In fact, that might be my favorite game console of all time.
So I don't really play a lot of video games either, but I just recently got a collection of old some of the old point and click games that we have been talking about in the past. Yeah, like horror related ones.
Oh, like Phantasmagoria?
I don't think Phantasmagoria. It might have. No, 11th Hour was one.
That's a good one.
And he's not playing them with me.
What was the other one?
Seventh Guest?
No, it didn't have Seventh Guest. 11th Hour was the only one that was from that line.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Noctropolis. Do you remember Noctropolis?
I've heard of it.
It was like a dark superhero type game. Guy gets sucked into a superhero game, and the good guy. Well, I don't want to ruin it, but and it was one that I heard was like the most violent game ever. It was called Harvester. It's a really sick ass game.
I've heard of Harvester. Yes.
Yeah, the graphics are appropriate to the time that they came out, but they're really terrible by modern standards.
Hey, is one of them Reaper that you got?
Don't know. I'll have to check.
There's one that I think was called Reaper and had Christopher Walken in it. as like the cop you deal with.
I kind of picture, Christopher Walken doing the voices for these things, and he's going, "What am I doing? Who are these people?"
No, I should show you the clips from this game. People went nuts for the cast. It's got Christopher Walken, and it had a younger Paul Giamatti's in it. It had like this big cast. Some of these adventure games got some decent character actors in the games to play the part.
Yeah.
I read that there was going to be a Metroid movie in 2030. If this happens, I hope it's going to be animated, not live action, so Samus can cross over with Mario in the future. Yes.
Oh, that's kind of brilliant, actually. Yeah.
We'll see. They'll do the Smash Brothers movie, yes. I just got the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. I need to play it. Lego games are my faves. And this is supposed to be all 9 movies. They're doing a newer Lego Batman game. Apparently that was announced too, which looks interesting. It's I forgot what it was called. Like I think it's going to have all the Batmans in it, actually. So I don't know. Wow. Anyway, Metroid Prime 4 coming out. But of course, the big thing... This is
Super Mario Galaxy.
This is in my opinion Nintendo admitting we made a mistake, or maybe they're not, because Nintendo never makes mistakes. But since Mario 3D All Stars was a limited edition game that they took off the market and even took off their digital storefront, you can't get anymore. But now they're releasing Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 collection. Yes, and I will be getting this because I want to play Super Mario Galaxy on my Switch and not on my Wii, because I hate the Wii. So there we go. Both games. I don't want to hear people complaining about the price tag either. This one is $69.99. $69.99. How old are these games? Well, I'm sure they're cleaned up in HD, or maybe not. I don't care. Wait for Black Friday. They'll knock $10 off it.
I was waiting for you to say 69, dude.
Nice.
As
a YouTuber, I am contractually obliged to say nice.
If they release these games individually at $39.99, they'd be saying, wow, Nintendo sure is offering a bargain at only $39.99 for these Mario Galaxy remasters. Combine them into one thing and charge $70. People scream. I don't get it. I get the things that bother me about Nintendo are not things that bother other people. And here's the thing. They're coming out for the regular Switch, so I can play them on my regular Switch, and that's all I need, because I ain't getting a Switch 2 anytime soon, if ever, because the whole game key card thing annoys. But here we go. Physical edition of the game. You can play it on your Switch. You can probably find other ways to play it, perhaps on a PC if you have the right hookup. Not that I'm going to recommend you do that as my Switch starts fizzing because Nintendo overheard me. Okay. I'm sorry. Nintendo has announced Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy 2 will be coming to the Switch as a bundle launching on the 2nd of October 2025. Nintendo is also launching a new Mario Galaxy themed amiibo alongside physical storybook product from the game. Fans have been itching to get Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Switch for years since its emission from the Super Mario 3D All-Stars back in 2020, so it's lovely to see this one finally confirmed. I have to tell you, the amiibo have skyrocketed in price. These new amiibo they're releasing for this collection are going to be $39.99 each for the plastic figurines. Contrast that with a Rosalina amiibo. She's the princess from this game, Princess Rosalina amiibo. I got just a couple months ago before things kicked on. I got it for $15.99. That's how much they've changed things. They probably blame the tariffs, I'm sure. But
I'm sure any excuse to charge you more.
No, it's not even just any excuse. Like, I understand, like, an uptick of price, like maybe a $15 thing becomes $20. I don't get $40. I don't understand it. And maybe it's because they're on the Switch too, and they can do new things that the old amiibos can't do. I don't know. They've not explained to me the sticker shock on that. I'm not complaining about the sticker shock on the game, though. So, look, it's been a horrible week. At least I have something to look forward to, all right? That's all I can say.
That's fine.
I like Mario Galaxy. I like Mario Galaxy 2. These were 3D Mario games, but the platforming was based around gravity because you're on these spherical planets and you jump from spherical planet. So it's like a platforming game, but it was based around messing with gravity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's all I can explain it to you. Okay. And Bowser kidnaps Princess Peach in the beginning, and she screams out "Mario" as Bowser runs off with her, and that's classic. That's what I want to see. Okay.
Oh, that's offensive. That's a woman needing a man to save her. That's not right.
Well, anyway, speaking more Mario news this week. Now we
Here
move
we go.
into Troy. I could be wrong, but wasn't there a Super Mario Galaxy 3? There was not a Super Mario Galaxy 3, Jessica Hardo, but there was a rumor that it's rumored that perhaps they might be working on one, and that's why they're releasing these older games now. But in the meantime, we have a Super Mario Brothers sequel title, and they did a fake out with this trailer. So in the trailer, you're seeing it, and Mario's sleeping, and you're hearing the Super Mario World theme song play. And it's the Super Mario World theme music, and then suddenly you go up into the sky and you're in space, and then it's the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and it says the Super Mario Galaxy movie. It's not the Super Mario World movie. That's what people were thinking it was going to be. They did a fake out. Nintendo fans, no, never mind.
Yep.
Okay. Illumination founder and CEO Chris Meledandri and Nintendo CEO announced the title of the Super Mario Brothers sequel, Super Mario Galaxy movie. The movie's previously announced release date was April 3rd, 2026 via Universal, remains unchanged. That's the U.S. date and select territories. The pick hits Japan on April 24th, with select offshore territories opening throughout April. In addition, it was announced that the returning voice actors for the characters will be Mario, played by Chris Pratt, Princess Peach, Anya Taylor-Joy, Luigi, Charlie Day, Bowser, Jack Black, Toad, Keegan-Michael Key, and K-Mac, Kevin Michael Richardson. Okay. Additional characters and voice cast for the Mario Galaxy will be announced down the road. The sequel was announced in March 2024. If it's based on the game, they'll have Princess Rosalina will be in the game. That's almost a definite. Is that Italian, Rosalina?
It is, absolutely.
That's probably why they named her Rosalina, because they stick with the Italian theme. Okay. The movie is co-financed by Universal Pictures and Nintendo, distributed theatrically worldwide by Universal. Okay, so we are getting the sequel that we knew we would be getting. We are also going to be getting a sequel that I never thought we would get.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
The Last Witch Hunter. Does anybody in the chat see The Last Witch Hunter?
This is where I have to fess up. When this was first sent to me, Boomer in the backdrop is like, yeah, I would never believe they were doing a sequel to this. And I'm like, a sequel to what? What the hell are we talking about here?
You never
heard about
you never
this thing.
saw The Last Witch Hunter?
No, I haven't. No.
It's tough, man. Vin Diesel, and he's having to hunt evil witches in the modern world.
Okay.
It's like a Van Helsing type dealie. Okay,
Sure,
that's how I see it.
Without the baggage of that didn't happen in the original novel.
No, nothing like that. This is an original property. Part of me kept thinking this was based on a comic book, wasn't it? And I'm looking online and I'm trying to find the comic book. I know this is some like Vertigo or Wildstorm or some comic that I never heard of. And no, I think it was just an original property. But Lionsgate has put into motion a sequel to The Last Witch Hunter to star Vin Diesel in a reprise of his role as Calder, the immortal witch hunter. The film is being developed alongside with Diesel's One Race Films and Lionsgate, with all parties.
Oh, wait a minute. Do you know what this is based on?
What?
Hold on a second.
It is based on an IP?
The last, yes, well, kind of. Last Witch Hunter is a 2015 American fantasy action film directed by Breck Eisner and written by Corey Goldman, Matt, whoever, these other guys, and based on the Dungeons and Dragons campaigns of Vin Diesel's Melkor the Witch Hunter. It's like his own character from Dungeons and Dragons. This guy actually has done what we all wanted, taken his Dungeons and Dragons adventures and turned them into a movie.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so this was a D&D campaign he made, and then
that's pretty cool.
It takes place in the modern world. I think it starts out in medieval times. I think he might get cursed and like he's immortal or something.
Let's just be clear. People have been using Dungeons and Dragons rules to do modern and sci-fi for a long time, to the point where TSR had created Boot Hill using the same rules so that you could do Western adventures. They created, I'm drawing a blank on what the space one was. And in theory, it was possible to cross them over. To
be fair, this is I would call this modern fantasy, because of course things like fairies and things like that exist in this universe too.
Sure.
The move goes with Lionsgate strategy and how to grow IP.
You think fairies aren't real? Fairies are absolutely real. let's not go any farther than that.
Well, maybe that'll be a topic for a Friday night. Anyway, actually, I'll talk
Netter's
about
looking at me and she's like, not sure where you're going with that. That could go one of two different ways.
You know what's funny, but save it if you want to do like the stuff that Conan Doyle said he saw. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or was it Dickens? Or was it the guy that Peter? It was one of those.
A lot of writers. Yeah, exactly.
I do at one point want to do a Friday stream where we talk about the paranormal, but don't do ghosts or UFOs. I want to do the other weird stuff.
Okay.
The other odd stuff, but that might be an idea. Or you could do fairies. We could do fairies as one of the things.
Absolutely.
The move goes with Lionsgate strategy, how to grow IP staying power with staying power and sci-fi fantasy spectrum elements that can overperform in the ancillary markets and create long-time library value. Last Witch Hunter, about one man who stands between humanity and the most horrible witch covens imaginable, grossed $130 million at the worldwide box office at the time of its initial theatrical release in 2015. The pick has performed consistently in ancillary market and reemerged as a streaming hit this year. It ranks among the 5 most viewed movies on Netflix. Isn't that weird how this movie from 2015, they throw it on Netflix and suddenly people said, I'd never heard of this, and they start watching it. Advancements in technology since then could allow a sequel to be brought on a more efficient budget expenditure. The rest of the elements will be conjured up quickly. Is that a pun intended?
Possibly.
Said Adam Fogelson, chair of Lionsgate Motion Picture Group. The Last Witch Hunter has grown since the theatrical release into a global fan favorite. So this is them saying that a movie that had staying power over the years now deserves a sequel, rather than them just relying on the immediate box office. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of the movie FX2. Do you remember FX2?
I remember the original FX. I don't know if I remember the sequel.
They did a sequel to FX2, because the movie, while it didn't perform well at the box office, it did so well on home video and on cable that they actually greenlit a sequel to it. It's one of the first times that ever happened, where they, based on the video popularity, they decided to do a sequel. And it was a good sequel. They brought Brian Dennehy back for it. Same actor as in the original, the Australian guy who was the effects guy. It was good.
Did they try doing a TV series based on it?
I don't know, but that'd be a good idea.
I'm going to look into it.
We still had TV shows before all the studios got heavily in debt and can't make anything. Okay, anyway. Now you're going to look that up, aren't you?
I am.
It's possible it did. This explains why D&D is not ruined by wokeness, can't have people making up their own stories and selling them to Hollywood, real competition. There you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, good for Vin Diesel on that. Witch Hunter was done after season 1. I don't know what that is. Talking about Critical Role or something? Okay. Look. Oh, you're looking up the FX thing, aren't you?
I am.
I'll read from this article while you're doing that. How's that sound? All right.
Go for it.
Henry Cavill injured during training for Highlander production, likely pushed to early 2026. We hear that Henry Cavill was injured during pre-production while training for the Amazon MGM Studios United Artists Highlander set. As a result, production will be delayed on the Chad Stahelski-directed reboot of the cult IP until likely top of next year. The Michael Finch Penn movie also stars Russell Crowe, Marissa Belli, Karen Gillian, Digimon Hansu, Dave Bautista, and Max Zhang. Producers include...
By the way,
yes?
FX, the film was released to positive reviews from critics and was a box office success, earning $20.6 million on a $10 million budget. A sequel, FX2, The Deadly Art of Illusion, was released in 1991, a spin-off television series, FX. The series was produced from 1996 to 1998. So I wasn't wrong.
Apparently I was wrong. It did okay at the box office, but I guess it did even better on home video. That's what I remember hearing about that.
Well, and I've said this for a long time, between cable and home video, and now I suppose arguably streaming. I don't know. If it doesn't do well in the movies, at the cinema, it always has a chance to find a new audience. But if you don't have a physical media out there, it gets a little bit harder for you to gauge how much additional income you're actually getting otherwise from a property, and whether it's worthwhile to put out a sequel, or in this case, a reboot. with Highlander.
Exactly. And unfortunately, this reboot, we'll have to wait a little bit longer to watch it. Now, at least they haven't gone into production yet.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, I guess it's the movie business. This stuff happens. I hope, I wish Henry Cavill a speedy recovery so we can get this movie underway. So, yeah. But there'll be a delay.
Yep.
But stuff happens. I mean, like I said, Harrison Ford broke his foot on the Millennium Falcon set in Star Trek The Force Awakens.
Yeah, but he's also in his 80s, right? I mean, you know, just saying.
All right, so that's our Highlander news of the week. Anyway,
yeah.
David Zaslav in the news again. Okay, so we have says TV has become a terrible consumer experience. He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
For a guy who has spent pretty much his entire career in television, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav doesn't seem to be a fan. Zaslav says TV is a terrible consumer experience these days. Just, you know, not his stuff. At the Goldman Sachs Communicopia plus television conference, Zaslav said the biggest accelerant to HBO Max's worldwide growth says as much about his content good as it says about the broadcast industry bad. The marketplace has really changed with too many players in the market, Zaslav said. When people turn on, the consumers put on their TV, it's just a terrible consumer experience. In almost every market in the world, there's just way too many choices, and you're Googling, where is it? How do I get from one to the other? How do I get into that platform? Zaslav said his platform will be in 150 million homes or more next year, solidifying HBO Max as a winner in the global streaming wars alongside Amazon, Netflix, Disney, YouTube. As such, over time, HBO Max will be raising prices.
Yeah.
The fact is that this is quality and a true across our corporations, motion picture, TV production, streaming quality. We all think that gives us a chance to raise price, he said. We think we're way underpriced. We're going to take our time. Zaslav has been taking up his time cracking down on password sharing, but it's coming. Okay. We haven't been able to push on the password sharing and the economics yet, he said. People really are starting to love HBO Max. That's the key. We want them to fall in love with our content, with our series, with our differential offering outside of the United States. It's all tricky with the password sharing. Zaslav continued adding, we're going to begin to push on that. None of this has me excited.
Yeah, no.
And he's yelling about... Go ahead, yeah.
It all sounds like a bunch of corporate legal speak.
I don't know. I thought I was going to give him props for this, but it's just it's more like he's the one that owns all those Turner networks, right? Does HBO still own those, or do they spin those off into another company?
I don't know.
Yes. So moving on to, and of course this was just kind of nasty, to quote Beast Boy. Teen Titans Go's Beast Boy voice actor claims to have been fired by Warner Brothers after Parkinson's diagnosis.
I think this was the one that I went off on Wednesday in my WTF. This is terrible optics. Terrible optics. And a number of people were trying to in the chat were trying to justify the corporate speak. I'm like, no, you simply can't do that, because number one, you can't come to me and tell me that you're getting rid of somebody that you've worked with for 20 years because he didn't get along with his coworkers. Bullcrap. He, especially when all of his coworkers are coming out and saying, we love this guy, you know, we're really upset about this. Okay, so he had a problem with the corporate guys because they want to change where things are going. Well, again, you know, you got to look at them and say, why are you changing something that's been doing so well for 20 years? Now you're going to make a change that he can't go along with? Really? And nobody else? But you do it immediately after he announces that he's got Parkinson's disease. Really? This, okay, fine. If that's the excuse you want to make, great. Let's see how it turns out in court. I'll be looking forward to the discovery on that case.
Yeah, I'll read briefly from this. Greg Sipp is the actor who voices Beast Boy on Teen Titans Go. Also, the original Teen Titans has taken to social media to air his frustration over claims he was fired. Replying to an Instagram post about Sipp's firing from the Cartoon Network series, the voice actor alleges he was unjustly cut after sharing personal health news. Warner Brothers literally fired me on Valentine's Day right after I publicly shared my Parkinson's diagnosis.
Yep.
And the second comment he added, it's like a death to me that only the fans can bring back to life. I also had a horrible thought, a really horrible thought.
Hold on a second. I
Go
do
ahead.
want to address this Tree-Rock creation. What the hell does this have to do with his voice? Okay, so there's a couple things that I could say about this. First, ultimately, Parkinson is going to affect his voice. Eventually, he will not be able to do his job. But again, that's eventually. Why would you have to do it immediately? Right now, get rid of him. The other thing is, I don't know what his contract is, but he's probably considered to be a contractor. So I'm guessing he probably doesn't have the equivalent of health care the way an hourly employee would through Warner Brothers. It would probably be something through his.
It's like you're an actor. You sign up to a season of a TV show, right? Like that.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. So he might have something while he's working through his union or something like that. I don't know, but it puts him in a terrible, terrible situation from a healthcare perspective, going into a chronic disease, without healthcare, basically because of what the company has done to him. It is assholery of the highest. Look, I've considered myself to be conservative from a political and socioeconomic perspective for a long time, and I am starting to hate corporate mindset and corporate raiders more and more as the years go by.
To be fair, the corporate guys went with all the woke stuff anyway, so they weren't really on conservative value sides either. I mean, I don't think conservative values are to throw someone out in the street because they catch a disease. Especially in my opinion, a beloved voice actor who, and I had another horrible thought too. He's been doing Beast Boy for a number of years. Do you think they could recreate his voice with AI?
I don't know about AI, but as you read through the article,
legally, I don't know if they could, but I think they probably could.
They are talking about effectively getting a sound-alike, and my argument would be, why after 20 years are you getting a sound-alike? So that you can underbid me? That doesn't look too good either. So yeah, this is not going to go well for him. It's really not.
Yeah, it's just that's cold. Plus, again, I don't know how they record these sessions, but I know that the Teen Titans cast, they've been doing this for years. I'm not so much a fan of Teen Titans Go. I love the original Teen Titans show. I thought Go went way overboard in the humor. What?
No, I agree with you. I didn't like.
But I have nothing against these actors. In fact, they voiced these characters early on.
I don't want. Yeah, just because I didn't like a particular show does not mean my convictions about employment law and these artists change. That would be very disingenuous of me if it did.
This is just a very cheap move by Warner Brothers. You get to get rid of your but I guess they thought he wasn't going to say anything. And to be fair, he didn't say anything. He didn't reveal this until recently. This happened on Valentine's Day when it happened, and he probably didn't want to go public.
And isn't that a fine Valentine's Day? Hey, we love you. Thank you for 20 years. You're fired.
Ridiculous. I hope he gets this sorted out, and Warner Brothers, just read the room. You're not well loved right now. You think you are, but you're not. 2027 superhero movie. Oh boy, 2027's gonna be the year, man.
I do have to preface this with, I did drop this into the Warner Brothers section, but it's not just Warner Brothers. It does talk about Batman and Superman, but it also gets into Spider-Man and the Avengers.
Okay, so this is a very interesting news story from 2027 superhero movie release date marks historical year for genre. So I remember back in 2008, I thought was a historical year for superhero movies because we had Iron Man, The Dark Knight, The Incredible Hulk, and Hellboy 2. All came out the same summer, and like, wow, we got 4 superhero movies in one summer. I didn't know it was coming in the future, obviously, but
exactly.
2027 superhero movie release date marks a historical year for the genre. The slate of super movies coming in 2027 might be one of the biggest for the genre ever. Superhero movies and TV shows have maintained a strong presence in pop culture over the years. However, their popularity has skyrocketed in the past few decades, and despite widespread conversations about oversaturation, moviegoers have remained largely faithful in their support of the genre. And the 2027 slate looks to be special as Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man have all have their movies coming out that year alongside what will be the sixth Avengers movie, Avengers Secret Wars. Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and the Avengers will get movies in 2027. The Batman 2, Man of Tomorrow, that's a Superman sequel that we're getting. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse and Avengers Secret Wars are all slated to release in 2027. The Batman 2 will serve as a sequel to Matt Reeves' 2022 film The Batman. Man of Tomorrow will feature David Cornsweet's Clark Kent, Superman, and Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor from 2025 Superman film. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse will be the final entry in the Spider-Verse trilogy, which revolves around the adventures of Miles Morales' Spider-Man. All of these leading superheroes have massive fan bases. Given the Secret Wars is also coming out in 2027, fans will likely have an incredible year. Additionally, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles project, a sequel to 2023's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, are debuting March 19th, 2027 and September 17th, 2027, respectfully. Also, respectfully, Sonic the Hedgehog is not a superhero. Am I wrong there? You there?
Don't know. Try.
You stepped away. No, he's. I mean, maybe some he is, but I consider him a video game character.
That's how I see him.
Video games have their own heroes and villains. Anyway, the Avengers movie generally includes the biggest crossover events in the MCU, featuring the biggest stars in the franchise. It's safe to assume that Secret Wars will be no exception. The 2027 movie slate has the most stacked list of superhero movies since 2008. What did I just say? When The Dark Knight, Iron Man, Hancock, The Incredible Hulk, and Hellboy 2: The Golden Army came out. Punisher Warzone, the superhero movie, and The Spirit also premiered that year. I remember when Punisher Warzone came out that fall, because The Dark Knight had come out over the summer, and I saw Punisher Warzone, and I'm like, this is like a B-movie version of The Dark Knight when it came out. The Batman 2 debuts in U.S. theaters October 1st, 2027. Man of Tomorrow, July 9th, 2027. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, June 5th, 2027. And Avengers Secret Wars on December 17th, 2027. Y'all excited for more superhero movies? At this point, what?
I said, not really.
What do you mean, not really?
Because they all seem to be pretty much the same. It's like it's the same story.
Well, the Marvel ones are the same because they kept doing the end of the world thing each time. But at this point, 2027 is going to be nothing burger after these movies, writers and directors forced to put other projects on hold. Okay, I don't know. Peacemaker's guns, baby. He's not canceling that. All right. Pass on
superhero I want to see.
What?
Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen Mighty Mouse in a while. I think I did get a DVD set of the Mighty Mouse Revival series because I think I found it at a it wasn't an Odd Lots, an Ollie's. I found a complete set of Mighty Mouse cartoons at Ollie's. Cool. So I did pick that up, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people are too excited. It is an interesting year. They have a bunch of stuff out there, though. Did you ever see Punisher Warzone, Netter?
I don't think so. That doesn't sound familiar.
It wasn't the one with the other guy. They had another actor in it, but I enjoyed it a lot because it was quite over the top. It had Frank Castle going up against a villain called Jigsaw, whose face was all messed up. And his face got messed up because when Frank Castle confronted him, he knocked him into a recycling bin place and then turned the machine on, and he got chewed up with all the glass inside the machine, so his face got all... Anyway, never mind. Anyway,
Troy would know better if we saw that one, because like I've seen, I think, pretty much all the Punisher movies.
Punisher Warzone.
Punisher. What was the name of it again?
The Punisher Warzone.
Punisher Warzone. Do we see that one, honey?
We've got them all on DVD. Warzone was the sequel with, help me out, who was in it?
Let me look that up. Unfortunately, that actor died a couple years ago.
Yes,
Last
he
thing he was
did.
on was the Ahsoka
And it
show.
wasn't Tom Janes. It was the other one.
I forgot why they couldn't get Tom Jane back for it. I think it was a timing thing, or it was something else, because I think it was originally set up as a sequel to the Thomas Jane one, and then they just kind of made it its own thing. Punisher Warzone, and Ray Stevenson was in it as the Punisher, and
that was the one. It was Dirty Laundry, which isn't.
I love that one.
It isn't technically
a Punisher
called
movie.
Punisher. It was kind of a fan film on Tom Janes's part. Netter saw it and she really, really liked it.
I like the Punisher. He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, at least the way he's depicted by Tom Jane. Although I did kind of like. Was it Dolph Lundgren who also played him in the first
I've
one?
liked all three Punisher movies. I'll say that. I like the Jane one, I like the Lundgren one, but I am with Geek Flag. I do like Warzone the best. It's the most fun out of all of those because it's just so over the top. It has
the nice thing about it
lots of villains in it. It's just
they did it in such a way that you can still see it as a sequel.
Yeah.
It could still be in line or not. Entirely up to you. And I wish they would do more superhero movies like that.
But they're bringing up the point that 2027 is reminding people of 2008, where a lot of superhero movies came out. I had brought that up earlier, where I forgot we had other movies that year, too. We had The Punisher Warzone came out that fall as well. But the problem is...
what do you think? The problem is that I think that... These companies need to understand that their movies and the movies are a product, and as a product they fall under the same rules as all economic law dictates, right? It all depends on demand, right? And if there isn't a demand and you oversaturate the market, it's worthless. But on the contrary, if you don't have enough of it out there and there's a high demand, anyway, be that as it may, the only thing that they have to understand is if you're going to have this saturated a market, assuming there is enough demand for this product, it has to be excellent, because now you have so much competition out there. You've got to be better than your competition. If you're not, you will not succeed, period.
You think they're going to cancel each other out, maybe, too? That could happen.
It depends. I mean, I honestly look at all of these films that are slated and going, I don't see anything here that's going to be so good that anyone's really going to give a crap.
Yeah, they brought up Sonic the Hedgehog 4 in the article. I don't consider that a superhero movie. That's a video game adaptation movie.
That's a huge stretch to call that a superhero game.
It's like saying Super Mario is a superhero. Movie, yeah. Granted, he has super in his title, but still. But anyway, it's funny in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. When he's in his downtime, he reads the Flash comic. You get it. Because he's fast. Anyway, never mind. Okay, it was a little in joke. Okay.
I get it.
Okay. Okay. I liked Ray Stevenson. Yeah. I miss Ray Stevenson, too. He's a good actor. I'm sorry we lost him. You like that picture?
Yes. That's absolutely appropriate for this article.
Was that the episode where Kirk split in two?
Yes. The Enemy Within.
Yes. Okay, I remember that.
I'm Captain Kirk! I'm Captain Kirk!
William Shatner didn't make money from Star Trek reruns. William Shatner, who played the iconic Captain James T. Kirk on Star Trek in the 1960s, didn't benefit financially from the show's many seasons and reruns. In an interview with The Telegraph, Shatner said he didn't make any money when reruns of the show aired during the 1970s. Nobody knew about the reruns, he told The Telegraph in an interview. The concept of syndication only came in after Star Trek was canceled. When someone from the union said, wait a minute, you're replaying all of those films, those shows, he said that following a strike, the union secured residual fees not long after the show ended. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek aired for 3 seasons with a total of 79 episodes from 1966 to 1969. The Boston Legal Star did tell the Telegraph that while he didn't make any money from the reruns, he was paid very well during the show's original run, even though it wasn't a lot of money tied to today's standards. But by the standards of Hollywood, not very well. And with a dissolving marriage with 3 children, I was broke at that point, Shatner said, adding that he began to feel safe. That he began to feel safe financially from the 1970s onward, despite being in multiple movies, TV shows, on stage, and on real-life spaceflight. The 94-year-old said he has no plans on retiring. "No, I don't recognize the concept," he said. "I'm working on a new album with Brad Paisley, tentatively called What I Have Loved. I got a book in the production."
Brad Paisley, really? That's pretty cool.
Yes. And his one-man show on Broadway is now available electronically. I'll have to look that show up.
Yeah.
As many of you know, I did see William Shatner live.
Yes, you did.
Yes, he was very funny. Great sense of humor, that man. Let me see. So I think it's the hair. Okay. Anyway, moving on to the next story, which is more Star Trek news. I think. What was that I just heard?
This is, they're talking about
go ahead.
This big anniversary coming up and everything,
yep.
And this is what they're all going with. Oh, a license for Lego. Yay!
I'm surprised. This does not have you excited at all. This is interesting to me.
Well, keeping in mind, first, I'm not a big Lego guy to begin with.
See, that I guess that was more my thing growing up. I remember my friend and we kept trying to make the Enterprise out of my pathetic Lego Castle System sets. We kept trying to do an Enterprise or a Starship out of those figures, but it didn't really work.
Sure.
And I'm sure many people have been wanting Star Trek Lego sets for ages. Figure. Now, Lego's got Star Wars. Well,
that is for a long time, it was very rare to see both Star Wars and Star Trek licenses being held by the same company.
Yeah.
But now we're finding it more and more common because, Lego's the only Lego game in town. Yes, there are knockoffs. But do you want your license going to, Kmart Lego? No, you want Lego to make your thing. So
Star Trek just announced its collaboration with Lego, and I have one big hope beyond building the Enterprise. Star Trek Day is finally here, and while there aren't a ton of upcoming Trek shows on the docket to talk about, other great things are happening. In fact, the day kicked off with a huge announcement that Lego is collaborating with the Sci-Fi series, and I have big hopes outside owning the model of the Enterprise. Well, I can't wait for the dream evening of watching episodes of Next Generation with my Paramount Plus subscription while constructing ships. I have a bigger hope for this collaboration down the stretch that involves a virtual component. I don't know what he means by that. Anyway, though, did you like the fact that it's Jean-Luc Picard? They're not, apparently the first sets might be Next Generation, not original series. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. They can start with TNG and then go to the old series later, maybe.
Sure.
But Troy, what I'm happy that Lego's going to do Star Trek. I mean, they could do Klingon ships in Lego. You get Lego Klingon minifigs.
So that's exactly what I was talking about. I do have a Klingon D7 in a Lego style. It's not official Lego.
It was made by a competitor. Yes.
And it's a tiny little one. It's like it fits in the palm of my hand, and not very high detailed. But Klingon, I had to have it. Yeah, if they do some Klingon stuff, I might get all over that. But
Darth Plato, don't start things up in my chat, please. This was the old days of before all the Wokosos entered geek culture. When
I would like to think that at this point,
fights were over the original series versus TNG versus other.
I'd like to think at this point we can get over. We can now expand that to classic Trek, meaning everything up through Voyager and Enterprise and Star Trek Nemesis. All of that is better than anything we've gotten under Bad Robot and Secret Hideout.
This is interesting. Troy, I heard that Star Trek Paramount Bad Robot actually has a hard time issuing out licenses. Most toy companies don't want to touch it unless it's TNG or the original series. Okay.
That sounds about right to me, because that other stuff doesn't sell.
Part of me wonders too if maybe they got this at a discount, whereas years ago they would have had to pay through the nose for this.
There is probably something in that too. It is such a devalued brand that they can now say, look, we don't want your Star Trek Discovery, Strange New Worlds bullcrap. We want original series. We want next gen, or nothing. We'll take nothing. And Paramount's going, we need to make money. Okay, fine, take it.
I want both, obviously, in Lego form. I am more of a fan of original series than TNG, but TNG grew on me after a while. The Borg were interesting adversaries. Q was interesting adversary. A lot of the stuff they did with the Klingons in TNG past that first season, because I was actually very taken aback by the fact there was a Klingon on the ship. And then, of course, you learn later on, oh no, Worf came from a family that is now dishonored in the Klingon Empire, and he had to find refuge in the Federation. That makes sense. That's almost like a Spock character in a way, kind of an outcast.
TOS is head and shoulders over TNG. I have two words for you: Spock's brain.
They both have their good points and their bad points.
That's right, because TNG had shades of gray. That's absolutely true as well. You're going to get that. But here's the other thing too: TNG had 7 seasons. TOS only had 3.
All right, let's stop.
I'm not saying that even as a negative against the original series. We would not have next gen if it weren't for TOS. What I'm really getting at
comments.
What I'm really getting at is, and by the way, welcome the Horror Cat Dad. We wouldn't have next gen if it weren't for TOS.
Okay.
And honestly, it all goes together. It's all Star Trek. It's all Star Trek up to Star Trek Nemesis.
This is
after that, it's not Star Trek anymore.
This is like the video game community. It's Mega Man versus Mega Man X, because Mega Man X is the TNG of the Mega Man series, where it's taking place like 100 years later, and it's a new Mega Man.
Because then I'm going to come back with, you can have your argument over TNG versus TOS, but what have we got now?
Yeah, look.
Even the worst episode of pick your least favorite classic track, Next Gen, Enterprise, Voyager, even the worst episodes of those, better than anything we're getting from Star Trek Discovery and all this other stuff.
Let me interject as someone who, especially when TNG first aired, was vehemently against it. I was old school Trek all the way, original crew. As I said, TNG grew on me, and now if I put on one of those classic TNG episodes, they hold up a lot better than I remember them being when they first aired, and maybe that's just because things have gotten so much worse now. But I'm not going to split hairs. If you're a bigger fan of TNG, that's fine. Original series, there's room for both, and I will say though that original series had better movies though. I don't know what happened with the TNG movies. I do kind of like what do you call it, the Insurrection movie though.
Oh yeah, Insurrection was good. It was more like an episode, an overglorified episode.
Yes.
But yeah, it was good.
First Contact had its moments too. Generations I hated with a passion. Oh man.
Yeah, I
wanted Birdman to do that for Sound of Birdman so I could hear me rant for 2 hours. Okay, go ahead.
They again getting the wrong messages all the time. They got to stop doing these combined original series and next gen.
Stop. They didn't do that on next gen, which is why it was successful a lot of the time.
Exactly, but they did it with Generations, which made both of them the poorer for it, and they did the same thing with the last episode of Enterprise by combining Enterprise with next gen. It's like, stop it. This is Enterprise, make it Enterprise. This is next gen, make it next gen. If you're going to do a movie, make it either the original series or make it next gen. The only time I'm okay with a crossover is a single episode where you have like a very old Dr. McCoy seeing off the ship, very sentimental little scene that doesn't really matter in the overall span of the show, or an episode about Scotty, he survived.
Like a standalone, it's fine.
He's able to help, but he's also a man out of time. Those were good episodes. But no, these movies and
No.
yeah, no, just
the star of that Scotty episode was the Dyson Sphere, though. Let's be honest here.
That was pretty impressive.
That was
that's also where
people excited.
There's so many elements of science fiction that were known, in quotes, in science communities that weren't known in the general science fiction community until Star Trek. And the introduction of the Dyson Sphere in Star Trek made it, well known to the general public.
Which is
that
why
whole
maybe
idea.
people writing Star Trek now should pick up a science journal every now and then, see what scientists are talking about now.
So that we don't keep having stuff like sonar in space or time crystals, and ridiculousness like that.
And other nonsense. Scotty episode with Darth Plato. We're moving on. All right. Let's move on to... I do like Deep Space Nine, though. Conjuring is coming to TV. Look at that. Oh, but first we have the Conjuring Last Rites. Conjuring Last Rites did very well at the box office. I've not seen it.
Once again, demonstrating that keeping your budgets down and writing to your niche is a formula for success.
Horror movies tend to keep their budgets down.
Yep.
And the other big genre that could keep its budget down and make a lot of money was comedies, but Hollywood got scared of making comedies, so this is where we are. Let the Resurrection Begin, jolting to the domestic box office, back to life in age. Ray Newline's The Conjuring Last Rites topped the weekend chart with a colossal 83 million domestic, including a huge 34.5 million on Friday, including a record 8.5 million on Thursday previews. That's by far the best opening in the history of the franchise and the third biggest horror opening of all time, and yet another win for Warner Brothers film empire, as well as the best showing of the year so far of any Hollywood horror title. Last Rites is the seventh consecutive Warner Brothers release to open north of 40 million this year, a first for any Hollywood studio and one for numerous milestones achieved this year by the one struggling studio. The news only gets better from there. The R-rated film continued to see its audience grow throughout the weekend. On Friday afternoon, it looked like it was headed for a record 65 million plus bow. On Saturday, it was on course to open 75 million, and including a lion's share of higher price IMAX screens too did that. So it did well. That's what I'm basically saying. Conjuring Last Rites stars Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson are in their final turn as the real-life paranormal investigators Lorraine and Ed Warren, but that doesn't mean the franchise is going anywhere. Last Rites is billed as the ninth and final title in Phase 1 of the Conjuring universe, which has become the top-earning horror franchise ever for collecting more than $2.3 billion in global ticket sales, not adjusted for inflation. Next up is Phase 2. I don't know what Phase 2 means.
I don't either.
They got to stop with these franchises. Everything can't be a franchise.
I'm wondering if this whole first phase, in quotes, is the extent of what they've been able to argue is based on the true story. Now they're going to update it to something completely fictional and more modern. I don't know. Maybe.
Moving on to the other news of the night is a Conjuring television series in development for HBO Max. Variety has learned that exclusively from sources that Nancy One has boarded the project to serve as writer, executive producer, and showrunner. In addition, both Peter Cameron and Cameron Squires are attached to write on the series. HBO Max declined to comment. The show was first reported to be in development at HBO Max back in 2023. Exact plot details remain under wraps aside from the fact that the show will continue the story established in the Conjuring film franchise. Peter Safran remains on board as an executive producer with James Wan's Atomic Monster producing Warner Brothers. So I have a question. It's going to be called The Conjuring. Is it still going to have the Warrens in it? Is it going to have different characters? I don't know. I thought maybe they were going to restart it and have different actors playing the Warrens. And
here's the other thing.
Make it like an X-Files type series. I don't know.
I'm a little concerned about where, maybe this series constitutes what they consider to be the Phase 2. I don't know. But I do also wonder if there are plans to lead the story up through the modern day leading up to a new Annabelle story based on the recent real world events related to the Annabelle doll.
I'm thinking we should talk about that maybe on a. We'll talk after the stream about ideas I have for Fridays. Okay.
Okay.
We're coming up on spooky season, aren't we?
We are. Yeah, we're kind of in it, to be honest with you.
I always say it's October.
Okay.
But you know, if
this
you want
this is the soft spooky season.
If you want to start celebrating now, I'm not going to stop you though.
Okay.
Tom Hanks in the news.
Talk about spooky.
Yeah, you don't like this guy. I've noticed this.
Not at all. Not anymore.
Which is weird. You must have
and you're going to find. Well, the article's going to get into some of the reasons why I don't.
All right. The Alumni Association for the U.S. Military Academy at West Point has reportedly canceled the scheduled awards ceremony slated to celebrate actor Tom Hanks. Hanks, who was set to receive the Military Academy Sylvanus Thayer Award September 25th, will no longer be honored. NPR and the Washington Post report the Thayer Award is doled out annually to an outstanding citizen whose service and accomplishments in the national interest exemplify personal devotion to the ideals expressed in West Point's motto, duty, honor, and country, according to a release on the Military Academy's website. U.S. Today has reached out to West Point and Hanks' rep for comment. The decision to cancel the ceremony for Hanks, who has criticized President Donald Trump in the past, comes on the heels of a tumultuous transition for the Academy under the new administration. Trump weighed in on the flip-flop with a September 8th post to Truth Social, lauding the Academy for its cancellation and deriding Hanks as woke and destructive. Our great West Point getting greater at the time has smartly canceled the award ceremony for actor Tom Hanks. Important move, the president wrote. We don't need destructive woke recipients getting our cherished American awards. Hopefully the Academy Awards and other fake award shows will review their standards and practices in the name of fairness and justice. Watch their dead ratings surge. Oh, I see. I thought about the award ceremonies. The Academy pulling the plug marks a remarkable shift in tone from the original announcement in June. At the time, a post to West Point's website chronicled Hanks' long career in both acting and activism and celebrated his contribution to the American image. Tom Hanks has done more for a positive portrayal of American service member, more for the caring of the American veteran, their caregivers, and their family, and more for the American space program and all branches of the government than many other Americans, West Point Association of Graduates Chairman Robert A. McDonald wrote in the thesis. To have my first ever visit to the Academy to be accept such an honor as the Thayer Award is simply outstanding. West Point's legacy of leadership, character, and service to the nation is a powerful example for all Americans, Hanks said in the release, to be recognized by an institution whose graduates have shaped our country's history through selfless service and it's both humbling and meaningful. Now, again, I'm not sure what exactly did he do. Was he mouthing off on Twitter against Trump, or what? If I'm looking at his output as an actor, I'm going to be fair. All his movies about the military and about the space race, I feel they have been very respectful and at their best. At least I think they are historically accurate to what was going on.
Yes, that is probably why he was being considered for the award in the first place. But the problem is that how he himself, because this award is not for the characters that he portrayed. The award is supposed to be for him. So it also comes down to the way he has behaved off screen, specifically with political comments that he's made and literally moving out of the United States. And yes,
there is that. Yes, that's not good.
CK, and I knew other people were going to start talking about this too. Boy, Darth Plato, you just don't like anything I like. I don't know what it is with you. There's an association between him with someone who did not end himself involving an island as well.
Yes, but as we know, certain things were not brought to the light by a certain Justice Department. Not that I want to get us off track.
No, you're absolutely right about that. I'm just saying.
So are you saying that West Point knows something that we don't?
It's very possible. And what's even more important, though, is
they didn't know about it in June, and they could have just not given it to him. Said they were going to.
What's more important is what I just specifically said about him leaving the United States.
Okay, all right.
It's really hard to give an award to somebody for being a good American when they leave the United States.
Where did he go?
Okay, regardless of your reason, he moved to Europe where he could. Be more accepted for his life choices.
Anyway, let's not say what those are, because again, we give the award to Gary Sinise. It says Tree Rock Creations. Yeah, somebody else.
Yeah,
it as well.
That's a great point. It should go to Gary Sinise instead.
Okay.
Talk about someone who's really done stuff for the troops constantly.
All right, I agree with you. I mean, I know that Tom Hanks has been a lifelong Democrat, but. There's a difference between that and being a Wokoso, but again, now I'm thinking it's some other things that may not be in the public eye, but maybe people behind the scenes know about him. Is that what you're saying? And also the moving out of the country. Okay.
Yes. Exactly.
Obama said that the military and space agency primary role was now social engineering. Oh, I don't know anything about that. Okay, moving on.
That's exactly right, and. Right now, the current administration is very much cleaning up the military, and let's face it, the whole government right now.
Disney's Zootopia musical in development. Disney's theatrical production is developing a new stage adaptation of Zootopia. Are you excited? Mm-hmm. You're Mr. Broadway.
No, see, I do like Broadway. I just feel like there are some things that should not be becoming Broadway musicals.
And equity. This is gonna go ahead.
A film or a cartoon or whatever. I know people loved, for example, the Lion King musical. I think that was ridiculous. You've got the Lion King. It was a great cartoon. It was a great movie. Leave it alone, right?
I suspect this musical is going to be very popular with a certain segment of the population. That's all I'm saying.
Don't even get me started, because I'll go down that route if you want me to.
Okay, at Equity Audition Notice, a list of 90-minute musical version of the animated film currently being prepared by professional LORT production, with future plans for both professional and amateur licensing. Is this going to be like Cats, or is this going to be like people in the full-on gear that some people who aren't actors like to dress up as? I'm just saying, not that we want to go.
I honestly have no idea. I can see it going either way. If it's Broadway, it should be more like Cats, right? But I don't think modern Broadway has the wherewithal to do that anymore.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I remember you sent this. You sure you want to? And I was like, oh, we got to cover this Zootopia musical. Come on, y'all in the chat excited? Remember the Joker 2? You know what? I wonder if part of the reason the Joker 2 got made was they were hoping to spin it off as a Broadway musical.
Oh my gosh!
You think
you're
I'm
probably right about that, unfortunately.
Deleted scenes. I am not saying what you're just inferring what I was talking about in the chat there. When was the last time Disney made a good musical? I don't know. Didn't they do an Aladdin musical? But I know the Aladdin is something they're afraid of now. They don't like to. That's like an embarrassment. Cracker Barrel. Yes.
Yes.
I went there today.
Did you?
Yes, because they had buy one get one free old timer breakfast.
Was it good?
It wasn't bad, and they kept the decor and they kept the sign, and that's apparently.
And how was the biscuits?
Biscuits were fine. I didn't get any biscuits and gravy. If that's what you're asking. Actually, I think I was supposed to get gravy with the meal. I think the waitress forgot.
Well, if she forgot and you didn't say something, that's kind of on you. But
I forgot. Does that come with biscuits and gravy or just biscuits? I don't know now. Okay, it doesn't matter. I got eggs. I got the fried apples. I got. The reason
I asked about the biscuits is because I've been hearing lately that they have been keeping biscuits over from the day before and reheating them, and they are hard as rock.
These were fresh.
Okay.
All right, I can tell they were fresh. They were soft. Okay. Cracker Barrel drops restaurant remodels after fan outrage. Cracker Barrel announced it is suspending its restaurant remodels after facing public outrage over changes. Fans said abandon the chain's core values. You shared your voices in recent weeks, not just our logo, but also on our restaurants. We're continuing to listen. Today, we're suspending our remodels. If your restaurant hasn't been remodeled, you don't need to worry. It won't be. Cracker Barrel said in a statement posted on the website. I think this is a start. The remodels dropped the kitschy Americana decor the chain is known for in favor of a more minimalist modern look. Even the article is still trying to defend it. You notice that?
Yeah.
Kitschy.
Yeah.
I like kitschy things. I like
yeah,
it better
well,
than modern
that's
things,
not
I
why
can tell you
people
that
go
much.
to. See, this is the problem. This is the progressive, change for change sake kind of mentality. Kitschy, change, it's good, and people are going, no, that is literally the opposite of what this brand is supposed to be about. You dumbass.
A firestorm erupted after Cracker Barrel attempted to rebrand its iconic logo, removing the old timer, an image of an old man leaning over a barrel, and replacing it with a sleek rendering of the company's name over a yellow barrel shape. It wasn't sleek.
Yeah.
What? Thousands of fans voiced dismay at the new logo. Yeah, because it sucked, and I wanted the, you got rid of the old man on the logo because old men need to disappear. That's what you're saying. We need to forget about them. The people that probably helped this country survive, okay, over the years.
Yeah.
But even Cracker Barrel's 93-year-old co-founder Tommy Lee slammed the rebrand as pitiful and accused the company of throwing money out on the street. In comments made to Nashville's WTVF, Lowe told the company to keep it country, and now it appears we have heard his voice. They have heard his voice.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Keep it country? That's flyover country. That's where all the bad people live, right?
Apparently, from their way of thinking.
The new logo looks like a knockoff Velveeta. Yeah, it does, actually. You're right about that.
I do like minimalist modern look equals communist chic. Exactly. Minimalism equals Marxism. The two go hand in hand.
Yeah. And then we go on to our last article of the night. I'm very excited.
I would also argue that minimalism is lazy too, but that's another thing altogether.
It's not like, you know what? It wasn't cluttered. They keep acting like, oh, it's cluttered.
Yeah.
No, everything's evenly spaced out. It gives you something to look at while you're waiting for your food to come. Leave it alone. It's like how Wendy's, and they don't have this anymore. Remember Wendy's used to have the old newspapers on the table underneath the glass? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And you get to look at the old-timey newspapers.
Yep.
Like Titanic is going to have a nice voyage, that sort of thing. Okay, anyway. John Cleese eviscerates BBC for being cowardly about offending the extremely woke. John Cleese, the British comedy legend not known for his diplomacy, has taken aim at cowardly BBC over its reluctance to offend people. In an interview with the Radio Times, the Monty Python and Fawlty Towers co-creator said the BBC is too influenced by the passion and nastiness of the extremely woke. He added, a huge slice of comedy is put straight into the fridge because executives don't want to get phone calls at dinner. They don't seem to realize you tease people, you're rude to people that you're fond of. Cleese made the comments after a recent meeting with the BBC ended with his ideas being rejected. He described an unnamed senior BBC commissioner as a clown. The people in charge now have no idea at all. The writers deserve better than this. The British people deserve better than this, Cleese said. The 85-year-old claimed that the BBC was not keen on his pitches and instead wanted to discuss a hopeless idea about Basil Fawlty on a ship or something. Fawlty Towers, which featured Cleese's Fawlty, has enjoyed a renaissance as a West End stage show, and Cleese announced in 2023 that a TV reboot was in the works at Rob Reiner's Castle Rock Entertainment. Cleese did not provide an update of the TV revival, but has previously said he wouldn't work with the BBC on the series because of creative freedom concerns. Although it only ran for 2 seasons, finishing in 1979, Fawlty Towers has been ranked number 1 on numerous best all-time British comedy lists. The BBC declined to comment on Cleese's remarks, but those familiar with the corporation's recent comedy record point to hits including Gavin and Stacey, The Finale, and Ludwig. Cleese is no stranger to attacking the BBC and its executives. In 2018, he called the BBC leaders absolutely effing clueless, while his other gripes include the corporation not regularly showing reruns of Monty Python. He's not wrong.
No, not at all.
And you know what? That might be good old days in the future. Fawlty Towers. We should explain to the kids.
That might be fun. Yeah.
About. Yes.
But this was a time when he comes from a very classical liberal background, very well educated in the classical British style. He and all of his associates in that Monty Python troupe were incredibly intelligent, incredibly rational. It's kind of where a lot of their comedy came from. And they're very clear thinking on what they see going on around them. And they're like, this is not good. Anyone with even a modicum of education and knowledge of history knows this is bad.
Yeah. So good on John Cleese for speaking up. I hope he gets a chance to do. I'm wondering about this stage show that's very popular. Right?
Yeah. I'm curious.
It might be an idea. If that comes out over here, that might be worth seeing. We're well past the 50-minute mark, aren't we? The BBC is a bunch of bloody slack-jawed, weak. Oh, okay. Well, they used to be better. I don't know. I don't know when this started. I think it probably started a while ago, but it's just gotten worse. And I don't know what the BBC makes now that anybody even wants to watch. Do you know of anything?
No.
I'd say All Creatures Great and Small, but that's not even BBC. That's the ITV, the cable channel over there. I don't know what the BBC has done. Of course, I heard they have no money. That's part of the problem, though, right? That's why they gave Doctor Who over to Disney.
It's also why there's probably going to be a crossover between Doctor Who and Star Trek, from what I'm hearing.
Oh, no.
I'll get more information on that for next week.
No! It's going to be the Anson Mount Strange New World show, right? That's what they'll do?
It absolutely is.
That's where they do all the stupid crap on. They like the puppets and everything else. Did that puppet episode come out?
I have no idea.
I'm wondering how it was received, because they did that on Angel. People are saying they're just ripping off things they did on Buffy. That's it for Geeky Geezers. We're ending with a whimper, but some good news tonight. Maybe the Conjuring series will be good, huh? Maybe?
Hope so.
Unless they're running on fumes at this point with that.
I do know that you really like that series, so I do hope for your sake that it's good. I have nothing against it.
Here's where I'm at with The Conjuring. I love the first movie. I love the second movie. Third movie, you can tell they had a different director because James Wan wasn't involved. I saw some of the stuff and it was too over the top. There was others. I think if James Wan had directed it, he would have done that story more justice. I've not watched any of the spin-offs, which I heard are a mixed bag, because for starters, they keep doing The Nun and the Nun movies, and I'm like, the whole point of The Nun was the demon was disguising itself as a nun to mess with the Warrens. All right? It was meant to be a... Never mind. Okay, anyway, but I don't know if you've seen those movies, but like I said, Amazon had a good deal. I did recommend, if you do decide to buy them, get the Blu-ray set, only because the DVD set looks like they're doubling up movies to one disc, which you don't want. You want every movie on its own disc, which the Blu-ray set offers. But
true.
Third Conjuring was the lesser of the four. I know you watched the latest one and you seem to like it, deleted scenes, so I will check it out when I get the chance. I do like those movies, and I've never seen them in theaters, though, oddly enough. I always see them on video. I should probably try and go out and catch one on the big screen. But I did enjoy the first Conjuring a lot. That was a nice Black Friday deal when I got that, too. And it came with a cool Blu-ray cover. It came with a slipcase on it, and it was like a hologram where, like, the mother's walking down to the cellar, and then you hear the clapping hands, and that's on the cover of the Blu-ray. It was kind of neat. Of the original Blu-ray. But that's it. Maybe if they do a Conjuring Universe show, we'll finally see something taking place at Amityville.
Possibly. Very possibly.
I mean, Amityville's been to space, so, I mean...
It is.
I think that's going to be that'll be your Monday night movie tomorrow, Amityville in space.
No. In fact, since we're about to pivot into that, my members' night at the movie is going to be F1. Okay. I have not seen it. My one of my VIP members, Deleted Scenes, has not yet seen it. So I'm like, you know what? This is a good opportunity. Since I didn't get a poll up, didn't get a chance to solicit the group, we're just going to go ahead and watch F1. I've heard good things about it. Let's see how it is.
Okay. And then Tuesday, we will be on a very special live from Sparkwood and 21, where we're going to be doing we're going to be talking about David Lynch's
the 8-episode short I guess it was a web series called Dumbland. I will explain where it came from, why it exists. It's not very long. All 8 episodes fit into about 35, 40 minutes. And we'll talk about it. I'm not expecting it to be too very deep.
Okay.
I am expecting it to be very strange. It has been called the angriest cartoon in the world. So we will dig into that a little bit. I have seen some very interesting parallels between the way the main character is drawn and a certain toy that appeared in the Twin Peaks: The Return. So I'll talk about that too, I suppose. But that is, yes, live from Sparkwood 21, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
Cool. And then Wednesday evening.
Well, we kind of skipped over the end of Tuesday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right after,
Blake 7.
Yeah, right after.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Right after Live from Sparkwind 21, jump on over to my channel for the next episode of Blake 7. The episode is called Assassin. And, I mean, the title kind of says it all. Servalan hires an assassin to go after the Scorpio crew. So, there you go.
Is it a friendly assassin?
No. In fact, it's apparently a legendary, unstoppable assassin.
Oh, one of those. There's one of those every week.
One could even say, in the tradition of Doctor Who, a deadly assassin.
Oh, funny man. Is that like the Is that like on Robin of Sherwood, where the sheriff's not doing his job, so they hire a new guy to be sheriff, and he's like the worst guy they can hire, and then Robin Hood still beats him, and then the other sheriff takes over again at the end of the episode?
I guess.
Never mind. Okay, you didn't watch Robin of Sherwood. I get you.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
I do rewatches that with Big Al. Anyway, moving on to.
But by the time you get around to the next episode of Live. Of Robin of Sherwood, it's been so long, all the people have forgotten what happened on the previous episode.
Anyways, moving on to Thursday. Netter, do you Thursday things? Any special guests this Thursday?
Yes. Actually, me. I am going to be showing a video that I'm in the middle of editing
Cool.
right now for how to make the homemade cough drops that I mentioned on Thursday Things about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But just before Thursday Things, the hour before, it's going to be a members only stream, and we're going to be doing trivia. So if you like trivia and you want to join us, well, you're going to have to be a member. It's a whopping $2.99 a month, and that's less than the price of a cup of coffee. I can't talk today. So, like I said, if you want to join us, become a member, and it's something that I'm going to try to do as a regular thing. We're going to see how this one goes, and if people like it, we're just going to keep doing it. Yeah, and then Thursday Things, I'll be showing actually a video on how to make the homemade cough drops, and also be talking about the honey, lemon, ginger in a jar, which was the other recipe I did.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
All right, very cool. And then that brings us to Friday, which is last call, and also
we honestly have not talked about what we were going to.
We'll have some. We always have something
Okay.
fun. We did Deadly Toys last Friday. If you already got a chance to check that out, and be sure to check out Troy during the week. He has his liquid lunch every weekday at I believe 1 Eastern Standard Time, 12 Central Standard Time.
Yep, that's exactly right. For 1 hour, take a break, have lunch with me, and let's chit chat. I've found it to be a lot of fun.
And then Saturday, Big Al's channel.
Yes, a little music of the night. Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera.
Which version?
Whatever the movie was. I don't know who the people were in it. They were not nearly as good as the Broadway cast.
I believe I could be wrong. Was the guy who played the Phantom Gerard Butler?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. And the This Is Sparta dude. Okay. And
Yeah. I mean, if it's not Michael Crawford and Sarah Brightman, I'm like, okay.
well, you just have to roll with the punches, I guess.
Yeah.
And then that'll bring us on to Sunday, where you can check out Deleted Scenes Unscripted. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Unscripted. And then follow it right into Geeky Geezers.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we'll have more news on that Star Trek Doctor Who crossover, which I'm horrified is even happening. Years ago, that might have excited me, but times change. Anyway,
yeah.
Catch y'all next time. You have a good week, and it's been a very rough week for this country, and
yes,
people in power need to start waking up and start. I don't want to see more tragedies like the one we had this week. All right,
it's true. And guys, if you don't see your name in the credits, maybe consider becoming a member. It would really, really help us a lot.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care.
Bye bye.